Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? Hello. Welcome to that weird week. Does anyone find the week between like Christmas and New Year's? This entire honestly, we should just come together as a society and just write off this entire week. It should just be, Christmas to New Year's to just be a holiday week. Just all the holidays, just that week, right? Everyone gets the whole week off. There's no point. You go to work Friday, you're not really, your heart's not in it. You kind of go to work Monday and Tuesday, then you get another couple days off, and then the whole week is just a write-off. Just a write-off. I have been eating well. The diet is not going good. This week has been bad on the diet, but it's been very good in other ways. I had turkey, a lot of turkey. My house smells amazing. I made turkey soup. Let me pull up the picture. My house, all day, I've had a pot of turkey stock going with all like vegetables and turkey bones and leftovers and spices and whatnot, just broiling away on the stove all day. My house smells amazing. And then I had turkey soup for dinner. So that's, oh no. Oh. One second. Fix my hoodie. You rotisserie to duck. We rotisserie our turkey. We do our turkey on the rotisserie. Usually what I do, I go out. Back when I used to work at the mold shop, we would get a turkey for Christmas every year. And because my shop was cheap AF, we always got defective birds. I don't know where they buy them at, but they're like turkeys that are like missing a leg and whatnot. So those are the turkeys the company that I worked for bought for us for Christmas. Thank you. But I liked it because we would cook it rotisserie. How do you spell rotisserie? There we go. We would cook it on our on my grill. I have my barbecue grill has a rotisserie attachment for it with a back burner. So we would truss up the turkey, and I would always just buy, now because I don't work at the shop, I just buy the smallest turkey I can from like Walmart or whatever, because they're small and cheap. And I do it all up with butter and everything, and I truss it up on the rotisserie and I let it do its thing. So that's what I do. And then, cut up a bunch of turkey after, freeze it all, and then we make turkey stock. And then, yeah. Basically always visit the local grocery store in town just get their almost expired meat. Only we can afford beef right now. I heard beef is really, it's a little expensive. Like, steaks are stupid expensive here in Canada. I know that. I know steaks are expensive because honestly, I wanted to do prime rib. Normally, like, my mom normally does prime rib for Christmas because we do turkey for Thanksgiving, right? But we haven't done Thanksgiving turkey in a couple years because my family's so small. Everyone has their own families now, so we don't have like a family Thanksgiving. So she started doing turkey again for Christmas. So this year I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a prime rib rotisserie. I haven't done prime rib in years. I went to Costco. Yeah, shit's like 120 bucks. F that. $20 turkey it is. Andrew Rogers, $20. Cheers and appreciated for the New Year's less than able-bodied turkey fund. Cheers and appreciated. Ham. I do ham. Ham's easy though. You go buy the ham, it's already cooked. You just kind of heat it up. Put honey on it or something. So yeah, so now I have like 4 big containers of turkey stock freezing right now. Costco 2-inch thick. Ooh. Bought 3 prime ribs for $11 a pound. I'm trying to convert that into... Okay, yeah, that's not too bad, I don't think. Yeah, it's stupid. Steaks are like, red meat's so expensive right now. I buy hamburger. I buy Costco hamburger, and that's about it for my red meat usually. What I do, honestly, since I end up making it like as part of like a dish, like I very rarely cook steaks by themselves. I'll make like steak sandwiches or steak and rice or something. I just go to Walmart. I buy whatever the cheapest steak is, like flank steak or whatever. Whatever the cheapest steak is, it's all getting cut up in spices and whatever anyway, so who cares? So... Brisket used to be cheap before all the barbecue bros got into it. You're like, yeah, bruh, smoking some brisket. quarter and a half cow. Yeah, I've been tempted to do the buy a cow thing. The problem is it's I don't really have the room. We have a bunker freezer, but the thing is my family's small. It's me, my wife, and the little guy, and we don't eat a lot. So it's like it would the meat would probably go bad from freezer burn before I get through it all. I'll be honest. So almost forgot it was Saturday. I know my whole week's thrown off because my wife's schedule's all effed up because she has a bunch of time off. Little guy's got time off. Obviously, he's got summer vacation. Yesterday was Boxing Day. For those that don't know, Canada has a holiday on the 26th. And also, I'm pretty sure most Commonwealth countries do. It's a British holiday. We have Boxing Day. So yesterday was Boxing Day, and I just canceled the stream because I wanted to spend it with the family because it's that week. So what are we doing tonight? What are we doing tonight? Tonight is a print and chill stream. Also, it's going to tie in a little with the Tuesday stream, but today is kind of like the quit being lazy, Taylor, and actually commit to finishing projects stream. Does that make sense? That makes sense. We have started, I am bad. For the long-time viewers of the channel, you know I like live streaming. I enjoy live streaming. That is my bread and butter. It's the content I like doing, okay? Making videos is something I have struggled with this channel for the longest time. You guys know that. I'm preaching to the choir, right? I probably sound like a broken record too. Like the smash button if you like broken records. But we have started multiple projects on this channel that they don't really get finished. They either kind of peter out or they get put on hold. I got to put a stop to that. I got to stop. We got to start wrapping up some of these projects because one, some of them are taking up room. Like for example, the power armor, right? The T45 power armor. I got the helmet done and I've got all the parts printed for the lower body. They've just been sitting in a corner downstairs because I don't know how to finish it. So we got to finish that. What else? We have to build the Prusa Core XY mod. We got to finish that. There's a whole, we're working on this. We have so today we're just we're going to get something printing to begin with because one, I got to print the chest piece for this. So I got the big printer. I want to be in the room while this is happening. So I'm doing this at the start of stream because I haven't actually, the big guy, the Venture XL, we've been having issues with it with temperature because fun fact, it expands quite a bit now that it's insulated. So I want to make sure that it can print PETG enclosed fine with the adjustments I made for ABS. I figure the bed from 80 to 100 in terms of ambient temperature shouldn't be too big. The Astromech is still ongoing. The Astromech is going to be the ongoing project for this year. Okay. But we're going to try and wrap up some other stuff in the meantime. The Astromech is going to be an ongoing project throughout the year. It is not a priority project. It's just kind of like, now that I have a big printer and I can print big things, the Astromech is on the list of projects. I know, let's add another thing to the list of things I haven't finished yet. How was my Christmas, Ranch Kid? Who's Ranch Kid? Oh, my Christmas was good. It was pretty good. Small family. It was weird. Like this Christmas was me and my wife, the little guy, my mom, my stepdad, my sister, and her husband. That was our Christmas Eve. My brother and his wife, they live in another town. My wife's family is in another province. We're all like, my little sister is almost in her mid-30s now. So it's like, we've all gotten old. We've all gotten old and it's like, everyone's off doing their own thing now. It's like, you don't realize, like, I think that's like when you finally realize like the things change. When you go to Christmas and it's like, you're the adult in the room. Like it's kind of like getting old. And it's 1600 bagels. Deanna the baker. I'm assuming you own a bakery. If so, is it local? I don't eat candy. I don't snack a lot. I am a baked goods, a nice bread, something, garlic bread, cheesy garlic bread, like that kind of shit, that pastries. That's my crux. I avoid bakeries. I love me some fresh bread. I don't own it. I'm the employee. Oh, well, you had the baker in the name, so I'm assuming it's a you know, big part of your life, right? You don't see like, you know, I could get into clothing. I could be Taylor the Tailor. Actually, that shit. I should have made a. I'm gonna spin up a cosplay channel called Taylor the Tailor. Portland, Oregon isn't exactly local to me. No, I would have been there earlier in the year if I'd gone to the Voron event, but unfortunately, it was not in the budget nor the timetable. Okay. So what are we doing today? First things first, we're gonna get something printing on the Venture XL. I've got a bunch of PET G loaded in it, and I am hoping that everything should expand enough. I've actually preheated the machine before the stream started. So I actually, the bed just turned off. So I've had the machine preheating for the past like half hour. So it should be up into temperature. I did make sure that the gantry does move freely. We're not binding anymore. For those that don't know, the Venture XL expands so much that it actually binds up the gantry. It binds up the gantry so much on the y-axis, which is the back and forth, that it causes these wonderful ripples. You know what the spacing is for that ripple? That's the spacing of the ball bearings in the carriage, because they're literally being shoved apart. So what we did was we heated the machine up, we got it up to temp, and I basically cracked all the gantry and then I retightened it. So everything is now tuned for expansion, which means I can't run the machine cold anymore. So if I'm printing like PLA, I have to actually print it hot. But I don't plan on printing PLA on this machine a lot. So this is gonna be mostly a PETG and other higher temperature material machines, hopefully. I'm gonna have to figure out expansion joints in the future. That's a future problem though. I have an idea where basically I use like, PTFE washers and basically ovalize the holes and then tighten the screws down with maybe like a spring or something. So that way they have a little room for expansion. So use another linear rail. I can't, the whole X-axis expands into the Y-axis and pushes them out. Stealth Max 2. I don't have any air circulation inside the printer other than the base stuff, like the hot end fan. Okay, so what are we gonna print? Well, as I said earlier, where is this? 3D models. We gotta get going on this. I want to finish this armor. And part of that is I have to reprint the chest piece of the power armor. So I have to reprint this because two things. One, the original one I printed out of multiple parts and I had to glue it together, and it didn't really line up too well because a bunch of the parts warped during printing, unfortunately. So the alignment was kind of which made two, the fact that it doesn't fit me. It was ever so slightly too narrow. I am apparently pretty barrel chested. There's no fat on these ribs, but it's too wide. Basically, like, I fit in here, but I'm pushing it out. So I need to make the whole thing like an inch wider. And three, and most importantly, something fell on it and broke it. Literally something heavy fell on it, broke it, so I threw it out. So I have to reprint it. So we're gonna try and reprint it in one piece. But first we're going to scale it to make it fatter. So I'm thinking about an inch wider should be good. So if it's 395, we'll go to 425. And there we go. That should be a little bit wider. And now we gotta lay it down. We'll go right about there. And now we are printing this in PETG. You know it's not CF. I'm going to use that profile because I like this profile. 255, 85, 85, max 40. Okay. So now we got to add some supports. Paint on supports, on overhangs only, smart fill, so highlight angles. So we will go up to about Okay, so we need support there, support there, support there, support there, support there, support there, support there. You know what, that I can fix if we have any issues. I will put some there, put some there, put some there, some there. Sphere, good old sphere. Everyone likes a sphere. Just on the edge, because the inside you don't care, right? You don't care about the inside, but I do want some around the edge so that the edge is clean. Also, I finished playing Dispatch. Really fun game, and I'm kind of a sucker for some of the designs of that stuff on Dispatch. So what I am actually doing right now is I am printing Shroud's mask on the Prusa Core 1L. So fun fact, I found out that the Core 1L will actually fit the 3 kilogram spools of polymaker. It actually, like, I've got the 3 kilogram spool loaded on this thing right now of PET CF. You can see it printing down there. Not anymore, but you can see it printing down there. I'm printing the mask at like 0.15 layer height, really slow. I want to see like how good, like how clean this mask is. And so far it's coming out really good. So like it's coming out butter smooth. So it should be pretty good for post-processing. I don't want to put a lot of work in it. I want it like come out, sand it quickly, paint it, put some LEDs in it, boom, mask done. But yeah, it actually fits. Here, I think I took a picture of it. It is hilarious. Yeah, so the Core 1L will fit the big ass 3 kilogram spools as long as you print the extended. This works with the 2 kilogram spools from Prusa and apparently the 3 kilogram spool. So yeah, the scale tool. I know the scale tool is probably a good idea. The problem is these aren't Galactic Armory models. So I don't know if it's compatible. Also, I've already printed this and I knew it was slightly too tight. So making it a little wider, I should be okay. Also, I think I was having an issue because of the way I glued it together. So, actually, we're gonna have to fill this. That. We're using organic supports, so it should be pretty good. Okay. I hate how sometimes, like, when you scroll your wheel, it doesn't really want to go fast. There we go. And I really don't want to have a ton of support, so I'm just going to do this and make it bridge. Why did that rotate? I did not rotate that. There you go. There you go. It's going to bridge. How well will it work? I don't know. We'll find out. If it bridges, it bridges. If it don't bridge, it don't bridge. There we go. Okay. How is this not being flagged for support? Seriously, how is that? There we go. Seriously, on overhangs only. There we go. There. Okay. Okay, so we got that. We got global support, enable support, tree manual organic, first layer expansion on build plate only. No. Okay. And slice. Let's see how this turns out. How are you doing? I also bought the wrong fan for my Mist Changer V2, but it's doing tool changes though. There you go. Wrong fan. Hopefully the fan's not too important. I did order the power supply. I did order a 48 volt power supply for this. I got a UHP 224, or correction, UHP 248 on the way. I don't know when it's going to show up. Probably in the new year. But that's why we're not working on this, because it's like I gotta cut the extrusions for this still, which I'm waiting for a nice day when it's not like freezing cold and rainy out, so I can actually set my chop saw up outside and slice them. So I got to cut these extrusions. We have to redo all the wiring under the hood on this to install a new power supply, 2 new power supplies. So we're gonna have more power for the hot ends and the tool heads, and also 200 watts of 48 volt goodness for our XYZ motion. So that will make this a lot peppier in that. Also, we need to finish doing CAD. So that's what we're gonna do after we get this printing. We're gonna fire up some Fusion and we're gonna design a top hat for this. So that will be fun too. How's this coming along? Going good there. This mask is actually coming along really good. I already tried once. Unfortunately, the reason I found out that the polymaker spools fit really good on the stocks, or the expanded spool holder, is because the rolling spool holder that I was using, it fell off. So we got this far in before it jammed because the spool literally fell off while I was sleeping. But I don't know about you. At 0.15 layer height, actually, you can see a little bit there if you, the light is literally coming in on a harsh angle. So like I can't see those little lines with my eye. Can I see those lines? No. Oh, okay. If you hit it where my like studio light hits it right at an exact 90, you can see those lines, but otherwise you can't. Like 2 seconds of sanding, that'll go away. But yeah, so this is the bottom part of the shroud mask from Dispatch. And the plan is I want to post-process it and do a full shroud mask. So, supposed to fall off? No, it got stuck on the roller and it kind of jammed up because it's cardboard spool. I hate cardboard spools. And it just kind of jammed it up. And unfortunately it stopped printing. So, there we go. 1 kilogram of filament. Wow. This is sketchy looking. How well do you think that'll finish, guys? How well do you think? I told it, well, I guess you can't really force it to, well, we'll see how that fares. How's the base looking? Okay, print, upload and print. Oh wait, how's it look on the inside? Are we looking for walls and whatnot? I should probably, yeah, let me pump up the walls. Strength. Yeah, we'll do 3 walls, 4 top, 4 bottom, 5 top, 4 bottom, and we'll do 20% infill. There we go. Switch to hybrid tree. Which one's hybrid tree? Support. Cancel. Organic. Tree hybrid. Let's try tree hybrid. See what tree hybrid looks like. Double wall of supports. I think they are double walled already, and it's a 0.6 nozzle, so it's kind of already pretty. That's a 1.2 millimeter wall for support. That's a lot. I have nothing to cut to because it's slicing, so you get to. Diabolical PC ABS blockage and a high flow Prusa nozzle. The filament is winning. Heat it up. Go hotter. What temperature are you printing at? Print hotter. PC needs hotter temperatures. Especially if it's like no fitting. No, I've already set it to only half the course, so we don't have any stuttering. I preset that up for the stream. But I knew we would be slicing. Although we're going to do some Fusion 360 in a minute, and I'm assuming that's going to stutter. Currently at 290. Ooh. And you're still having jamming issues. Slow down. Try slowing down a bit. What kind of jamming are you having? Like, is it grinding? Like, And is it just PC-ABS, or is it like carbon fiber PC-ABS or anything like that? I'm assuming it's not filled with anything if you're printing with the high flow nozzle, because the high flow nozzle isn't rated for abrasives. Also, which brand filament? Hopefully it's a good name brand. Full kilogram, a single thing is wild to me. Oh, it's not a full kilogram. This is 2.6 kilograms total. And it's a 2-day, 2-hour print. There we go. So are we going to roll the dice on this, guys? Should I roll the dice on this and just hit send and see what happens? Am I going to roll the dice on this? Am I rolling the dice on this? Oh my God, look at that. No, not that. No, I don't want tree hybrid. I want organic. I'm not wasting all that filament. I am not wasting all that filament in support material. F that. 1 second. Increase first layer expansion. I really haven't had issues with first layer on this printer. Cut off the handle and attach it separately. If it was that easy, I would. I probably should. I'd have to modify the file. That'd be annoying. Brim on those trees is too small. Well, it has inner brim, doesn't it? We'll take a look in a second here. I thought we had brim enabled for... We'll take a look. Never had a problem with Revo high flow nozzles and filled filament. Well, it depends on the filled filament and if it's a hardened nozzle. It's BASF Ultra Fuse PC ABS fire resistant. Okay. Print as hot as you think it needs and print slow. That's the best I could recommend. Try slowing down. Print with like the structural profile, not the like speed profile or something. There you go. 2 kilograms of filament now, which I don't think I have enough loaded, but. Also, I don't think it needs brim. If the whole inside is solid and it's only 1 layer, I don't think it needs a brim for those support. Like that ain't going anywhere. That ain't going anywhere. A little concerned with that, but it should be fine. Yeah, it would be a lot easier if I can slice that off, but I don't think slicing that off would be easy. And just print it separately. First layer expansion. Why first layer expansion to 5? First layer. I don't think I've ever played with that setting ever. Support first layer expansion. What does that even do? This expands the raft or support area to pollute. Oh yeah, it just gives you a bigger brim. Yeah. Yeah, just a bigger brim. Till somebody falls on it. For your knowledge, it wasn't somebody fell on it. It was a can of paint fell on it. Because it was on the floor over here and I have a shelf with paint on it and I grabbed something and it fell. Add the slice tool. You know what? How easy would that be to slice that off? You know what? You know what? Whoever said that is gonna make me do this now. Okay, split. Okay, nope, Control Z. Are we doing this? We're doing this. Okay. Okay. Keep, perform, cut. Okay. I don't know why it's doesn't want to fill that other area. There we go. Just put a little bit there. There we go. There we go. Okay. Prepare. How much you want to bet all the stuff I painted on this is gone? Yeah, it's all gone. Son of a boop. Okay. Well, now I gotta do this all again. Great. I gotta paint this all again. Content engagement. Yes. We'll be doing all that content engagement. So who here got something really cool for Christmas? Anyone here get anything 3D printing related for Christmas? Because that's the question that you can fill out and answer if you want to get yourself a spool of filament from Polymaker. Every stream we give away a spool of filament from Polymaker. And if you want to win that spool of filament from Polymaker, you have to answer a question in the chat or in the contest entry form below in the video description. So go enter now, do this now, and enter. Go enter, go do it now, come on. You know you want to. So enter, and then you too can win a spool of filament from Polymaker. There we go. Okay. Okay. I think we're good there. Okay, so now slice. Let's see how this works. You want a Palette 3 Pro? Oh shoot, nice. Oh, on Joel's stream? Ever get your hand on any cubic? No, I did not. I had an email from a company reaching out who wanted to send me something from Anycubic, but it wasn't Anycubic. I don't like dealing with third-party companies that are like, hey, we're reaching out of you, we're reaching out on behalf of this company. And it's like, a lot of time it's like, because it's sketchy a lot of time. So if like a company directly reaches out to me, I'll answer. But if it's like, hi, we're from some so-and-so agency, trust us with your address and we'll send you stuff. And I'm like, so 6-lane box turtle and a tube compact. Ooh, that'll make a nice little tool changer or MMU unit machine. That'll be nice. And a stemp. Ooh, Knipex pliers. Those are nice. Those are nice. Knipex. Printing more astromech. No, we're printing power armor parts. The astromech, I have a ton of stuff printed for it already that I got to start post-processing before I add more to the pile. The plan with the astromech is to do like sections at a time. So I got to start post-processing it first, essentially. I got to turn brim on for this. 1 second, shoot. Well, that dropped the print time down quite a bit. Others, brim auto. Outer brim only. There we go. There we go. You want a Delta Flyer from Hot Makes, but they haven't replied to my email. Give them time. It is the holidays. It is the holidays. So. Obsidian $500 is on the way. Nice. Nice. For Hanukkah, I got my 4 poly dryer boxes and my existing 3 poly dryer boxes. That's a lot of poly dryer boxes. I've seen a few pictures where like people have like dozens of those Polymaker dryer boxes, and I'm like, I mean, they're nice and all, but that's a lot. Hey, David's here. Everyone say hi, David. How's the holidays, David? Okay, question for you. Is Printed Solid open in the week between Christmas and New Year's? Are you guys open? I'm of the firm believer the last week of the year is just a write-off, and there's no point for companies being open this time of the year. Between Christmas and New Year's, the whole week should just be a shutdown. You should shut down Christmas Eve and open up January 2nd. That whole week should be a write-off. You're open. We got Scrooge over here making, get back to work, no holiday. No, I'm sure Prince Solid has a very robust employee holiday policy. I remember working in when I was an insurance broker. That whole week was such a write-off. Nobody wanted to do anything during those weeks. You'd have people call and be like, yeah, so I need a quote on all this stuff. I'm like, bruh, it's like 2 days after Christmas. Why are you cared about insurance? Call me in the new year. It's the most important time for business. It's the last 2 days to get all that money. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I personally, like, I'm not putting in my requests for affiliate payout until January. So I don't make any more money this year because I know the tax man is just going to take more. So I'm just like, I'll just push it to next year. So it's like, I got a couple invoices I got to send out for affiliate links and whatnot. And it's like, I'm going to wait till January. Wait for January for those payouts. And I don't want to make any more money this year. Taxman's going to, I don't like the tax man. Okay. So now we're going to send it. Okay. That bridge is going to be interesting. Is that a bridge? Is that an actual bridge? Do I have to... Do I have to support that? Oh my god, how many layers are on this thing? Yeah, I'm gonna have to put support on that. Shoot. 1 second here. Paint. Infill only. Put support there. There we go. Slice. Okay. Yeah, that bridge is a little too much. We still have schools and businesses trying to spend their yearly budget. Okay, in that case, David, get your bag, fam. Get your bag, fam. Yeah, in your case, it makes sense. Because companies, I hate that whole, oh, if you didn't spend the whole budget this year, I guess we're going to give you money last year. So incentivizes wasteful spending. But if you're the company selling stuff that counts as wasteful spending at the end of the year, get your bag, fam. Get that bag. So there you go. I don't know why I'm cleaning these. I got to cover them with, I got to cut them all up. Prince Solid got a showroom. Maybe I need to make a road trip. I know when I was talking with David, I mean, he's in chat, so he'll probably answer before I finish yapping. But it was in the works to have like a storefront. Because I know at the old location, you could just show up and buy stuff, which saves you taxes, I believe. Is it Maryland they're in? I don't know. You guys got too many states. Consolidate your states. You got too many. Why do you need 50 states? Canada's bigger. We got 10 provinces, 3 territories. Why do you need 50 states? Too many states. Delaware. That's what it is. Delaware. Hi. We're in Delaware. I was very tempted to like green screen myself in that Wayne's World skit. Okay, there we go. Print. Upload and print. Whatever we get is what we get. Send it. No sales tax. Okay. Like, why do you have 2 Dakotas? Exactly. A little showroom, yes, but we still have one. Yeah, you got room for a showroom. You'll have room for a showroom. I mean, I don't know how much like traffic. I don't know if there'd be enough traffic to have like a dedicated storefront with somebody manning a register. But I think you're in that niche where it's like, if you know kind of thing. And there's somebody who'll help you if you show up kind of thing. Or you call ahead. Do you have a pickup option on the website? Do you have an option on the website when you're paying? Can you select like pickup? Is that something? I mean, you're in another country from me, so it's not something I've ever looked up, but What do you save in taxes? You pay in I-95 tolls. Dude, the east coast of the US, how many freaking toll roads can you cram in that area? Like, it's nice because whenever I drive over there for like 3D Printopia, I basically don't pay any of the tolls except for the ones that you have to actually pay at, because they're like, oh, we'll mail you the toll, we'll mail you the bill. The problem is they don't ship outside, they don't mail it to foreign countries, so I never get the tolls. Like, I have to pay for the Ohio Turnpike, because that one you have to pay to get on and off. You go through a thing. I can't skip it. But like the Pennsylvania Turnpike, they take pictures of your license plate and they're like, we will send it to you in the mail. And it's been 3 years now and I've yet to receive anything in the mail. So Wayne's World, Aubrey Plaza, zero sales tax, and Biden is all we have in Delaware. Yeah, true. I mean, it's pretty nice. Don't get me wrong. It is actually pretty nice. Any tips for a high temp trident? How high temp? Remember, Vorons are not designed to do high temp. Okay, they're designed, you can do higher temp. I have a higher temp trident of well, it's a V1.8, so it's pre-trident model. Insulate the crap out of it. Try and minimize volume inside the printer. That's why I used a V1.8, because it had an internal box, so it had less volume. It's kind of like how the Prusa Core ones have the indents on the side, less volume to heat up. Get some fans going to circulate the air, especially under the bed, so you can basically get a nice warm convection current going. You can get a trident without any additional heating but the bed. If you insulate it well and you have fans and it's set up properly, you can easily get that into the 70s, I believe. I can get mine into the 70s. What you need, though, you need to ensure any printed part in there is made out of either metal or a 3D printed plastic that can take the heat, like PPS or whatever. And then also make sure you're using high temp belts, high temp motors, and try and have as least amount of electronics in the tool head as possible, or in the chamber as possible, which means try and avoid a tool head board. Unless you are Gucci and you somehow got your hands on a Luke's Lab like Jupiter, which can handle the temps. Most off-the-shelf controller boards don't like 70, 80 degree ambient temperatures. So try and keep as much electronics out of the printer chamber as possible. Building up interest. Well, one day they'll figure out how to mail to Canada, and then I'll be like, that wasn't my car. Okay, so this all shipped over to the printer, I hope. I am printing this at 1.5 layer height, not the chest. I'm printing this mask at 1.5 layer height with the Prusa structural profile. It's like a day-and-a-half print for like 400 grams of filament. But I'm hoping it looks really good. I gotta get some EL wire, that's what I need. If your chamber isn't reflowing solder on your board, what's the point? Exactly. I always find it funny whenever somebody quotes that like NASA article where it's like, well, NASA managed to modify like a lull spot to print peak, and it's like, my brother in Christ, they rebuilt the entire printer from the ground up in an oven. It's not like they just took a lull spot, put it in an oven, and are printing peak. They like re-engineered the entire frickin' machine and they're running it in an oven. Like, yeah. Old school to it. Yeah, like remember, if you are doing a high temp printer, right, try and avoid some sort of nozzle probe. My V1.8, I think, still uses the inductive probe for the bed, right? But you could go to a fixed bed, fixed Z, manually level the Z. You don't really need to worry about part cooling too much if you're trying to print peak or anything stupid high temp. So you could, you don't need fans, you don't need any of these crazy, try and find a tool head that is like something like an A4T. Or I still use the stock afterburner, but all the parts are printed in high temp nylon on that machine. How do you check where air is leaking out of the trident? I can smell ABS fumes through very well sealed. Sippo Coffee, you will never seal it up fully, because remember, you're gonna have holes for wires coming from the bottom chamber. You will never be able to seal up your printer 100% unless you go crazy. If you have a thermal camera, you can look for leaks. If you have some way, do you vape bra? Put a vape in there and let everyone know you vape. and see where the smoke comes out. Put a smoke machine in it. You're never gonna not have ABS smells in the room with a printer. There'll just be a lot less, and also a lot of the heavy residues will cling to the inside of the printer, so you don't have to worry about that stuff wafting around your house. Vape Nash. What a freaking fall from grace. Ethan and Gila or whatever. Don't they do like go down a rabbit hole? Okay, what is this doing? Oh, that's right, it's doing the preheat. I have it set for like a 10-minute A4T and tube. A4T and a tube would probably be pretty good. A metal tool head with a tube air or conduct might be good too. My high temp printer, which to be fair, I haven't used it in a while because I haven't had to, has an E3D high temp hot end. It will get to 500C on the nozzle. And we have checked that. It will do 500C on the nozzle with the E3D high temp hot end. Fun fact, that hot end mounted in a normal ABS afterburner, from it going from room temp to 500 back to room temp, puts out enough ambient heat around it to melt the ABS ducts. And just going from 0, 500, 0, just however quick that takes, you know, hit 500, let it heat to 500. As soon as it hit 500, turn it off, let it come back down to ambient. And that time, it pumps out enough heat to melt the ABS ducts around it on a normal afterburner. And then the front fell off. Okay, let's fire up Fusion. We need to design a crappy top hat. Nylon does not do well for printer parts and went all metal and put motor outside the chamber, running a small fan on a tool bar. Yeah, nylon has creep issues. The nylon I used was glass-filled high-temp nylon, and I annealed it, and it's held up fine. But I only have a couple pieces printed in that. The rest of the printer is high-temp polycarbonate or carbon. I can't remember. Frickin' Fusion. Launching such a... It's like, oh, now you gotta log into Windows. Now you gotta do this. Oh, here's a... Somehow it's in dark mode. I didn't tell it to go to dark mode, but now it's in dark mode. Okay. Graphics driver is out of date. Frickin' Fusion. Where is my top hat? There we go, top hat. PPA-GF is supposed to be better for creep. Oh, there you go. What do I think about automated 3D printing? What about it? I don't do production. So for me, automated 3D printing is kind of a waste. If I was running a print farm where all I printed was random knickknack stuff that I sold at like Etsy stores, then yes, automated printing would make a lot of sense. Okay, but you basically, it depends. It is very situational. Like, are we talking like systems where it automatically swaps the bed out, or it's like continuous bed type systems? You basically have to print enough to make the investment and it worth it. Okay, I don't do that. So for me, automated systems for me don't make any sense at all. If I need to print something and I'm already printing something on a printer, I just fire up another printer. And I'm, you know, my printers are here. My bed is over there in my house. So I can easily, you know, so. Do you have a 2D ink printer? I got a brother LaserJet. Is my system in dark mode? I mean, I haven't changed any settings between the last time we streamed and today, and all of a sudden it's in dark mode. So I don't know what's going on. Fusion is cloud-based. It isn't really designed for local fires. I pay 50 years for solid work for creators. I don't pay anything for Fusion. I use the hobby level Fusion, not for commercial use. You're allowed to use it as long as you're not making up to like $50,000 a year off of it. I don't make $50,000 a year off of the stuff I 3D model. I don't make anything off of the stuff I 3D model. So free Fusion is good enough for the basic bitch stuff I do with Fusion. You know what? One second. You know what? Go buy some gamer subs. I think it's on sale. It's the freaking holidays. There we go. We're joining a nice Alexander Keith's Indian Pale Ale, the pride of Nova Scotia. If you're ever in Halifax, you can go do a tour of the brewery. It's really nice. Onshape includes making videos. I mean, even if they did, I don't use Fusion enough, anywhere near enough, where the videos where I use Fusion would be anywhere close to that 50,000 limit. Yeah, if you smoke them if you got them. I don't partake in the smoking. I used to smoke cigarettes. When my wife got pregnant, I quit smoking cigarettes. I haven't smoked a cigarette in years. I do partake in Canada's national herb, but I do that in edible form. Side note, Cocoa Press is very good if you want to get creative with filled chocolate things. The Cocoa Press comes in very handy for that. I'm not telling you to make edibles on your Cocoa Press. I'm just letting you know it works very good at it. Okay, so we need to put some holes in here because what I'm going to do, so if you don't know what this is going to be a really quick, easy top hat. I'm going to print it on the Venture XL. Why not? But basically, I need to raise this panel 2 inches up. So 50 millimeter rise. So we are basically just printing a spacer that I'm going to just screw onto the top of this frame. That's just going to raise this up 50 millimeters. Simple as that. So, you can totally eat things. I did a video. I'm kind of pissed it didn't. Honestly, half the reason I stopped making videos by the end of this year on the channel was every time I was proud of a video, it did horribly. And it got really no offense, like, you know, inner thoughts here, I'm going on a tangent. It got really depressing putting a lot of work into a couple video series on the channel this year and them having nothing come out of it. Like nothing. The whole Gundam build series and some other things I worked on got me, like, did nothing for channel growth at all. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going back to streaming. Like, it's honestly really kind of depressing. It sucks. Okay. Anyways, let me do my shitty ass stuff here. Okay, there we go. Okay. Fine. There's probably a better way to do this than what I'm doing here. Where's the center? There it is. Okay. How big is it for it's like 5 point. How big of a hole for 5? Is it like, I don't remember. I think I do like 5.25 for clearance hole. I know there's ways to do patterns and shit, but I can never remember how to do it right. And by the time I do it, it's like, well, I could have just yeah, 30 works. Circle 5 point. You know what? We'll do 5.5. We'll do 5.5. 5.5. Cool. 5.4. Okay, close enough. If you highlight all the circles holding control, you can make them all equal. Ooh. Well, what I want to do is I just want to put 3 on each side. Right? There's the center. Find me the center. There it is. 5.5. Do 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 do. Circular pattern. I know. This is my problem. I always forget how to do those little like tricks and whatnot, and then I just go back to, screw it, I'll just draw some lines. And then it just works. So I'm like, you know what, screw it, good enough. Okay, so now I gotta put some holes through this, so that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Oop, oh, what am I doing? Get rid of that. Okay, delete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. Extrude, -50. Cool, there we go. Got holes all the way through. Easy peasy. Sketch mirror. Yeah, I know, mirror and all that. Here's the trick though. If you know what to do to make it better, putting it in chat while I don't do that makes chat go by quicker, which improves engagement. So like the smash button. Okay. So now I need to figure out what size screws do I have a crap ton of that I can use for this. M510s, M512s, we'll use M512s. M512s, I have a bunch of M512s. Okay, so how much sticks out of an M512? So if you go all the way in there, so I need, we'll do 8 mil. Okay, so I need 8 mil of stock. So, circle. Because this is 50, so what's 50 minus 8? That's 42. So if I go, so, oh, circle. How big are those heads? How big are those screw heads? How big are those screw heads? .25, so 10 mil. So we go 10. Actually, wait, I don't want to sketch. Where's hole? Hole. Okay, 10 mil. We want a counterbore. 10 mil, no. We want 42 millimeters deep, 10 millimeters wide. And not a counterbore, we want a flat bottom hole. There we go, flat bottom hole. Lewis gifted 5 community memberships. Cheers and appreciated. So 42 and then 10. There we go. Okay. Bing, bang, boom. There we go. And then we do hole. Hole. Oop. Hole. we go. Pull. 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 Oh. Yeah. Pull. Hole. Hole. There's probably a shortcut that I can use to repeat this, right? Is there like a shortcut that I can use to repeat this instead of me going hole, 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 hole? I would like you to know you're a monster. Am I? What are you talking about? This works perfectly. See, I'm putting a hole in a hole in a hole. Right? This is how you do it. I know I could have counterbored these right from the beginning and made some counterbore holes, but that would require me doing it from the top, which I didn't, because order of operations is a complicated thing. So instead, I'm doing this like a freaking Neanderthal. It's like 2001, and I just found that piece of bone. Stupid sketch you made. Yeah, but see, look, it's done. It's done. There we go. So anything worth, no, not 3 times, 12 times. How's the print doing? Okay, the fact it's not moving and that's flashing is not a good sign. What's going on? MCU clipper timer too close. That's new. That hasn't happened yet. From our restart. That is the first time that's happened on this machine. Hopefully, that is just a little hiccup. Home all. Huh. Now, to be fair, this happened twice before the electronic rebuild, but it was always during homing. Like during the initial homing. So I'm thinking it could be an MCU thing. Or a Linux SoC thing. Okay, so now we have this wonderful piece of art. This is pretty boring. So how do I do some funkiness on it? I want to put some funkiness on the outside. Also, for those wondering how the top hat's going to be held on, VHB. I'm just going to VHB it on. I have some double-sided foam, I think. I'm just going to double-side foam it on. Or slap a GamerSupps logo on it. I could do that. I could put a GamerSupps logo on it. Go buy some GamerSupps. Use code Canuck. Save some money. I actually should put some tabs on it. I should probably put some tabs on it. What I might do, because I need a way to hold the panel down. What I might do is put some holes on the side for heat sets, and then that way I can have like a little tab, and then I just screw it in. I could do that, or I could just double side foam it. How wide is this? I don't think this is wide enough to put a heat set in. Because the panel comes to halfway. The panel comes to halfway. The panel is bitrate issue, maybe? 446. And this is 49. Right? Yeah. So the panel sits roughly halfway. Yeah, the panel sits exactly 5. $7 mil. I don't think I'm trying to figure out if I have room for heat sets, so I could just put a screw from the top. Inspect from that wall to there, 5 mil. So what I could do is just put some washers. Yeah, okay. How big is the hole for a heat set? I want to say 4.7 millimeters. I want to say 4.7 millimeters for a heat set. That's 5. Yeah, that's 5. 4.7. Yeah, 4.7. So what I can do is I can put some heat sets, one in each corner, and then I could just put a heat set and then just put a screw with a washer and just hold it down. I'm using whatever the ones that come in every Voron kit. So if it's designed for Vorons, we're using Vorons. So I'm gonna do 4.7. So hole. I'll put a hole here. Okay, so we need a. How deep do they need to be? How big? Okay, you would think I would know the Voron ones off the top of my head, but it's been a while. So that's 4 millimeters deep. So we'll go with like 4.5 millimeters deep. So 4.5 millimeters deep and 4.7 wide. Okay. I don't want that there. Hole. So here's the question. How can I easily do like, that ain't gonna work. That would be super ugly and uggo. So let's do a sketch. Let's do a sketch. So I don't have these. Okay. I had a sticker in there. Okay. So let's take this cube and offset these lines outward. No, that's not what I want to. Oh my God, what am I doing? Click. Click, click, click. Okay, offset. So the panel sits 6.9, so 7 millimeters in. So 7 plus another 3, so that's 10. 11.5. 11.5, 11.5, right? Negative. Okay. So now I want like a hole there. Yeah. Just put a hole there. Boom. Okay. So if turn the sketches back on. So I'll put one in each corner. Hole. Done. Hole. Done. Hole. Done. Okay. Now let's do hole. Is there a way to see where's the midpoint of this? Is there a way to like just put a marking dot, create like add point. Yeah, I just want to split this into thirds because where'd my hole go? Oh no, there's my holes. It says construction point and on shape. Well, I kind of want to put it like between here and here. Or I could just do this line. Okay, so well. There. No, that's not what, that was nothing. What was that? Also, just so you're aware, I'm looking at this on a computer monitor that is like 4 feet away from me, that's tilted sideways. So I don't actually have the best view of what I'm doing. When it comes to, that's why you're seeing me scroll in so far, is because I'm literally looking at a computer monitor like 4.5 feet away from my face. Why did my holes disappear when I load up the sketch? So if I do a line, no, that's, yeah, okay, there are my holes. My holes are there. I'm just trying to figure out, because I want to put like another hole midway between here and here. What's the easiest way to do that? Edit sketch. Okay, whatever. Can I just, you know what? Hole. No component design. What do you mean? Hole? No, that's not what I want. Control Z. Hole. Okay. That's, why are you going all funky? Hole. Is there, will it snap to anything? Will it snap to a midpoint? No, there's no midpoint for it to snap to. Cancel. Because the timeline and sketches are made. Yeah, that's, so this is the way I sketch. I'm horrible at CAD, so I do everything Ugga Dugga caveman style. I do it like I'm doing it by hand, just in a computer. And that's what gets me. So we'll just do this. So what is that? That's 235. Okay. Hole. No. What is going on here? Okay, now it's not snipping to that, whatever, fuck it. Line. Where's the middle point? There's the middle point? Okay, hole. Where's fucking point? Point! There we go. Aha! Hole. Hole. I don't like that. I don't like that. Line. Because then it's a big gap here. Ugga Dugga also, yeah. Aziz line. You know what? Let's hide this sketch. So, am I overthinking this? I'm staring at this and I know you guys are getting frustrated with it. New sketch of the other. Let's reference the object, might be easier. You know what? Fuck it. That'll work. That'll work. From that corner to the middle. And then create point midway of this, right there. Hole. There. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're just gonna do it caveman style. F it. What the frick? Yeah, I'm working on my sketch. Why? Okay, go there. There. Okay. Line. Go to the middle. Line, go to the middle. Line, go to the middle. Line, go to the middle. Nope. Control Z. Line. Boom. Middle. Okay. Great. Point. Where's the middle? There. There. Where'd the middle go? There. Nope. Great. Point. Where's my fucking middle point? There it is. There. And yes, I know it's not perfectly middle because it's offset to the... There. Okay. So, there. 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 Hole. Hole. Why didn't you put in all the holes? Hole. 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 Okay, apparently you can't shift enter and select them all and make holes everywhere. Not using Fusion. Fusion is very powerful if you know what you're doing, and depending on how your brain works, is very easy to get into. Fusion is very easy for me because I use it like a freaking caveman. I sketch extrude. You'd be surprised at how much you can get away with just sketch extrude. Okay? So you literally just sketch extrude. That's it. You draw what you want, and then you just extrude it. Make it thicker, make it thinner. Extrude it that way, extrude it that way, extrude it that way, extrude it that way. It is very easy to get into, I think. I've taken drafting. I did a couple years in college for, this was early 2000s. I did a couple years for civil engineering. And part of those classes were drafting, where I sat there with a drafting table and drew blueprints and stuff for like houses and electrical plans and whatnot. So for me, that kind of basically, I know for those that do 3D modeling, it's painful watching me do it, but basically I'm just doing what I would do by hand in the computer. So yeah. Plus it's free. Oh, there we go. I've never heard of Rhino. So as it is right now, this is it. This will work for what I need it to do. So here's the question. Do I just leave it as is and call it a day? Or do I try and put something on the front here? Obviously, I'm going to put some champignons on this, make it nice and smooth. But I think this is pretty much all I need to do. Like, this will work. Suffer through using SolidWorks. So we'll put some champignons. Or filet. You know what we'll do too? Do a nice little rounding on the corners. Put a beefy arm on it. Not gonna share for the inside, there's no point. Hexagons on the Voron logo. Yeah, I could do that. There we go. That'll work. You know, I'm going to leave it blank and I'm going to sticker bomb it. I'm just going to put a bunch of stickers on it or something. I'll just put the Canuck Creator top hat for rising the printer up ever so slightly, but not as high as other top hat designs. And it's one piece because I'm lazy. So. Yeah, I can do it in the slicer. Okay, so file, save. Okay, and then bodies, body 1, save as mesh, STL, export, okay. We're going to save this to 3D models, save. We are going to call this 50mm oddball Voron top hat, tall boy. There we go. Save. Now, because I'm going to be that guy, and I cannot wait till Prusa Slicer 3 comes out and has tabs in it for different work spaces. Because like I want to play around with this and see what it's going to slice like on the printer, but I already have a file that I might need to reprint or adjust settings, so I don't want to like close this down. I could save it, but I don't want to. So now I have to fire up a second instance of Orca. It will be so nice when you can just Control T and open another tab. And it's going to be great because Prusa is putting in all this work developing it, and all the other companies are going to be lazy sons of bitches and copy and paste it. you know Bamboo Studio is just waiting for Prusa to push the code public, and they're just going to be like, yoink. Unless they're furiously trying to come out with the feature first so they could say they developed something. There you go. The joys of having a big printer. So if we print this with VXL ABS, 3 walls, 4 top, 4 bottom, 20% infill, bing, bang, boom. There you go. Roughly 778 grams of filament. I mean, to be fair, you do want it kind of pretty dense. But there you go. 8-hour top hat. No export step. You could export it as a step. I just save it as a mesh, as an STL. It's just quicker. Beat the hobbyist license for Fusion. FreeCAD is the only... FreeCAD? If you guys want, I will subject you to a stream of me trying FreeCAD. The last time I tried FreeCAD was a couple of years ago. Before that, I know they recently like redid the UI and everything. But the last time I tried FreeCAD was like around when I first started streaming, and I hated it. I could not understand it at all. The workflow was a mess. So if you guys really want me to, we will try a stream where I try like FreeCAD or OpenSCAD or something, and you can all swear at me while I drink and try and figure out how to make this work. So there we go. So whenever this torso is done printing, I will print this, and there we go. We have a top hat. Nice, easy peasy. For those wondering why, because I think I saw somebody, why I didn't put mount holes in the corner, quite simple. This frame is so old. This is a Misumi frame. For those wondering at home, this is a Misumi frame. It has Misumi corner cubes. This printer has $40 in corner cubes in it. $40 in American dollars in corner cubes. because that's what we did back before all these frames were blind joints. It was Misumi corner cubes. I pop this off. I know there's a way to pop the plastic cover off. There we go. Yeah, there you go. Misumi corner cubes. One second. Ooh, try not to break. Ooh, look at that. Right there, look at that. Misumi corner cubes. Fancy AF. So you can't screw anything into the corner. Well, see, they're Misumi corner cubes. So the advantage is the Misumi corner cubes have little notches in them. So the problem with regular corner cubes is the extrusions can twist. The Misumi ones have little locking tabs, so the extrusions can't twist on them. So. Oh yeah, I still have to reprint a part in here. Okay, so that is ready. That's CAD. How's this coming along? Let me go check the first layer. Make sure we're good. I know I'm gonna run out of filament on this. Oh, first layer is beautiful. Yeah. I know I'm gonna run out of filament on this because I think this is like a 2 kilogram print and this spool only has like 1.2 kilograms on it. But I can reload. I'll just do that tomorrow. Yeah, it's coming along good. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so that's that. What is the next thing we are working on? 1 second here. Device. I'm just gonna drop you ever so slightly just to be on the safe side. Drop you ever so slightly. Okay. Okay, so file. Don't need to save. Okay, we'll close Fusion there. How you got a CAD? I don't think free CAD is free. Yeah. Percent level way to draw the object and then get the resulting script to help the workflow. What? Draw the object and helping script. What? Okay. What do you think? Build a 2.4 using kit parts from Micro Center or SV08? Gotta be Micro Center is the catch. What do you mean it's gotta be Micro Center? Do you have like a gift card or something? So okay, so I've never set foot in a Micro Center. We don't have them in Canada. But from my understanding, Micro Center does sell 3D printer stuff and they do have Voron parts. The kits that they have, I don't know if they have full parts kits. Like if they have like a full LDO kit there and you want to build a Voron, here's the thing. Do you want to build a printer or buy a printer? If you want to buy a printer, go with the SV08. If you want to build a printer, build a Voron. The Voron will probably last you longer because it's easily upgradable and fixable, whereas the SV08, you're reliant on Sovol and community mods. It depends. I mean, to be fair, with Voron, you're relying on entirely community. But anyways, Voron probably has more legs. I mean, this is a 5-year-old machine. And we're still faffing around with it. So, do you want to build or buy? As for what kits, I know they had Chaotic Lab part kits, but I don't know if they had full part kits. I know they had like CNC parts, but you still had to find the frame and all the electronics and everything. So, I know it's Chaotic Lab, but I don't think they have enough to build a full Voron. Like okay, yeah, you have the CNC parts, but you still need all the extrusions and all the electronics and all the screws and the bearings and all that. So I don't know if they have enough to build an entire Voron. If they do, have at her, I guess. I don't know what the only thing I'm worried about, no offense, it's gonna be pricey. The SV08 is gonna be a lot more budget friendly. Yeah. What factors have a significant effect on 3D printing speeds? Honestly, with today's like, are you talking just, I mean, in pure speed, what you do is you go into your slicer and you make these numbers as big as you can. At eventually some point, the printer will stop printing good. At what point that is, depends on the printer. There's flow rate is probably going to be your biggest cap. Most off-the-shelf printers don't really have crazy high flow hot ends. So once you start hitting above 30 millimeters cubed a second in flow, you're going to start running into issues. Okay. Part cooling, depending, some materials need crazy part cooling. If you print too fast, you can't get enough cooling on it with the stock setup. I can't give you an answer for that because there's so many variables. Like, that's like saying, hey, what factors affect a car max speed? There's a ton of factors. So. Budget, is that French? Is it budget? I have to keep track of my grocery budget while I go down to the Target to buy some baguettes. Oui, oui. Uh-huh. Yeah, I was looking at it for 500 more. I could get the parts to build a 2.4. Oh, so okay, so it's either basically get an SV08 or for 500 more. Honestly, it's up to you. You've already built a Voron. Do you like building Vorons? Is there something specifically about the Voron that, like, I got no penny in this argument, right? I got no skin in this game. So, like, do you want to build another Voron or do you just want to buy a printer and make it print? It's up to you. I've heard the SV08s are much better now. The one I personally had, I gave away because I had a lemon unit, but everyone else seemed to like them. If you want me to say just build the damn Voron, just build the damn Voron, but it's your money, man. $12.50 for all the parts, but you need a stealth burner, no extruder or hot end. Yeah, so you're gonna have to, at that point, look at like LDO and get like a Jabberwocky kit or something. So. Oh, you have an SV08 and a 2.4 and you can't decide. Okay, well, in this case, do you need another printer? You can get a lot of printer chow. You could stock up on a lot of printer chow for a while. Like, do you need another printer? That is the question. If you do, then yeah, and then okay, well, what do you need your printer to do? Okay. There's still too many variables for me to give you like a direct answer. Sorry. N+1. Yeah. The best printer is more printer. I want another printer, not need another printer. So yeah, if you're wondering what I'm printing right now on the, here, let me clear this off. So this is what's printing right now on the, oh, did I not? Oh, I don't think I saved it to this. No, I didn't. Shoot. Prusa Connect. I didn't save the file to my server. It's on my desktop. Carl is printing a shroud mask. I love it. I gotta update this. When I added the Core 1L to my Prusa Connect account, they didn't have the Core 1L as an option, so I just added it as a Core 1, which is funny because it doesn't show the full bed. So it just kind of cuts off. But it shows a Core 1L bed here in the thumbnail, but it only shows a regular Core 1. Where do printers rank on Maslow's hierarchy of needs? I don't freaking know. Somewhere above like apples and somewhere below like loving parents. I don't know, somewhere in that range. Cobra S1 Max. How are the Cobras? I lived in Upper Arlington, Ohio, near the Lane Avenue Shopping Center where Micro Center was born. Spent a lot of time in that store. Nice. Now it's like, I'll be honest, we had Boxing Day yesterday. which is like, for those that don't know, Boxing Day is like the Commonwealth. It used to be the Commonwealth Black Friday. Okay, so here in Canada, I'm assuming in the UK as well, on Boxing Day, that's like when I was younger, when I was a teen, I would camp outside of Best Buy on Boxing Day to buy a TV or buy a PlayStation or get a computer upgrade or something. Like for us, we didn't have Black Friday. We had Boxing Day. That was the sale day. Okay, that was our big sale day, was Boxing Day. But now we have Black Friday up here, and it's Boxing Week, and sales don't matter anymore because everything's overpriced, and we're paying, you know, $400 for a stick of RAM. Frickin' ChatGPT and all those damn clankers. Fuck AI. So yeah, like I haven't been to Best Buy. I haven't stepped foot in a Best Buy in like a year. Boxing Day sounds so. Apparently, the why it's called Boxing Day, and this is British posh AF. It was the servants' holiday. So if you were a servant working in the house for your I don't know, rich British upper echelon folk, right? You were a maid, you were a cook, whatever. Obviously you worked over the holiday. You had to cook for your, you know, you were the butler or whatever. You had to cook for these folks. So your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, you were busy. And then Boxing Day was your day off. So what they did is they sent you home with a box, and in the box you had like leftovers, maybe some clothes, and maybe a little gift from your employer. That's what Boxing Day was. It was, you got a box of stuff from the guy you worked for over Christmas. So apparently that's where it's from. I don't know. For me, it's always been, that's the day where you buy stuff and return all your Christmas gifts you don't like. So. Fries got worse and worse. I've never been into Fries. Then again, we had Radio Shack in Canada up till very recently, actually. Radio Shack survived in Canada up until very recently, surprisingly. It not in name. Circuit City bought Radio Shack in Canada. So when Radio Shack went under, its Canadian division was sold to Circuit City. That Circuit City. And when Circuit City died in the US, it stayed alive in Canada as The Source. So Circuit City bought the old Canadian Radio Shacks, rebranded them as The Source by Circuit City. So they're basically small mall electronic stores, right? Laptops and TVs and whatnot, but small in a mall. And then when Circuit City died, The Source became its own thing. And I think they finally closed up because all the ones near me are gone now. So. But they still had like a little section where you can buy like little electronics and whatnot. But it's sad. By the end, they were basically a phone store. I don't know, for my fellow Canadians, I'm assuming this is true in America too. How much of your local mall is dependent on phones? Like my local mall, you have 3 stores for Bell, Rogers, and TELUS, which are the 3 big telecommunication companies here in Ontario. So you have Bell, Rogers, TELUS. Then you have another 3 stores for their cheap brand. So you have Kudo, Fido, and Virgin, I think. So there's 6 stores, all dedicated to phones. And then there's like another 4 stores that are phone boutique stores that just sell the stuff that you could buy in the other stores. So it's like Wow Mobile, where you can buy plans for Rogers and Bell. And then you have like, another 4 stores that just sell the same things as the other 6 stores. And then you have like another 5 stores that fix or sell phone cases. So like, there's like 15 to 20 stores at my mall. And because, you know, we're in Canada here and it's a freaking monopoly, all the phone prices are the same with every company. So it doesn't matter who you go with. They're all the same price for the plans and everything. So you have like 15 to 20 stores in the mall that all sell exactly the same thing for the exact same price. And they're all busy. I don't get it. I don't get it. Micro Center is the only large computer store around me, but it's 90 miles away down in Miami. There is one in Detroit. There is one in Detroit, but I haven't gone to it because unfortunately, I would get, like, if I cross over the border and then I come back, they're like, okay, you're in the States for like 2 hours. What'd you buy? Like, I went to Micro Center. What'd you buy? Oh, a CPU. Well, okay, well, you got to pay the tax and duty on it. There goes whatever benefit I had from buying it. So, because then I got to pay tax on it twice, right? You got to pay whatever Michigan taxes are on it. And then when I cross over, I got to pay the Canadian taxes on it. Plus, computer stuff ain't on sale anymore. I was really hoping to like get like a 5800X 3D or something in a couple, like this year or something. But now they're all sold out because everyone's staying on their current platforms instead of upgrading because everything on the new stuff is stupid expensive. DDR5 is through the roof. So, busy malls. We don't have we do. My local mall is actually crazy busy, which sucks because it doesn't have anything other than like a food court and like clothes stores, but it's busy. We only had a few central computer stores until Micro Center reopened. SSD prices. Yeah, SSDs, like, I was honestly thinking of this year, like, I wanted to buy a new SSD for my computer, a new NVMe drive, because right now mine's like a Gen 3, 1 terabyte or something. My motherboard could take Gen 4. Actually, I might even be able to take Gen 5. It's a B650 motherboard. Anyways, I was gonna buy a new NVMe drive, put that in, and install Linux. And basically do a full from scratch Linux install on my computer and actually try going full Linux on my desktop. The problem is NVMe drives are so stupid expensive right now. Yeah, it's like double the price. These were like $100 and now they're like almost 200. But I was gonna buy a new NVMe drive, put that in and go Linux and try going Linux. And then that way, if I didn't like it, I could just swap the NVMe drive and just go back to Windows. But yeah. Abramantia. Cheers for becoming a channel member. Cheers and appreciate it. Best way to support the channel, content I create, things I do, consider becoming a channel member, Patreon supporter, or if you're really cool, gifting memberships to others. Or just check out the links in the description, affiliate links. Don't cost anything extra, go a long way in supporting the channel. Cache OS is great if you have that chance. I have Bazite on my framework. Honestly, I've been using my framework laptop, my framework 13, as my Linux testing laptop. I've had Bazite on it for a bit. I might put Cache on it this year. I might put Cache OS on it because I only use it when I travel or like just dicking around at home. So I don't have anything on it. I can reflash it at a moment's notice and reinstall the operating system. I don't lose anything. I don't keep anything on it, right? So I might put Cache on that and try it. So Linux Mint. Linux Mint is what I have on my home computers. My wife's computer has Linux Mint on it, and the computer that we have hooked up to the TV in the living room has Linux Mint on it. And I think the laptop that we have in the workout room downstairs has Linux Mint. It's been a while since we used that one, but we have that Linux Mint. My wife's laptop or desktop is Linux Mint. She plays the odd video game on it. She likes it. It works fine. You don't want Cache OS. That's the problem with Linux. There's like 20 different, there's dozens and dozens of different distros. And like every like 6 weeks, the hot new one is different. Like I keep seeing on Twitter, people keep talking about Omarchy, and I'm like, I watched one video on it and Buddy pulled up a terminal to change an easy setting that would just be like a normal window in Windows. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not dealing with that bullshit. I'm not opening up a terminal to change a resolution or a refresh rate. F that. Bazite is basically SteamOS. Yeah, I have Bazite on my laptop and I like it. I mean, they're all basically the same thing, just with like different default packages, let's be honest. Yeah, Zerpocalypse, I bought mine last year and I bought it used from somebody in the community. So I bought it used. I had to put a new drive in it and a new set of RAM, but that was before everything got expensive, so it wasn't too bad. Pop OS. 20 is a huge number. Oh, I know 20 is a huge. I know there's, you know, dozens and dozens and probably hundreds of different flavors of Linux, but it's like, let's be honest, there's only a couple that are like the big ones. BOS, Temple OS. Yeah, Temple OS. We'll put Temple OS on it. Can you even get on the internet with Temple OS? Probably not. Now, also, Temple OS isn't Linux, I don't think. I don't think Temple OS is Linux. I think it's its own thing. Omarchy is performative, Arch Linux, and very opinionated. Yeah, it screams that it's like, how do you know somebody uses Omarchy? Omarchy is kind of like the, what's it called? Omarchy is like the CrossFit of Linux distros, I think. I'm pretty sure Omarchy is like the CrossFit of Linux distros. NVIDIA. Yeah, my desktop has a 3090 in it, so any Linux distro I go with would have to be pretty good with NVIDIA. So it's got a 3090 in it. I know AMD is much better in Linux, but I have a 3090 and I ain't changing that anytime soon. How do you know somebody? That's why, yeah, Tiburon, that's why I was calling it the CrossFit. How do you know somebody does CrossFit? Don't worry, they'll tell you. I remember, so when I was in the Army, we had one guy, there was a sergeant in my regiment who got into, like, we come back from summer break and he was like huge, he got into CrossFit over the summer. And so he had us doing like workouts, like CrossFit workouts. And he's like, yeah, you gotta do all these stations. And then at this one, you're like lifting this weight up over your head. And like, what do you mean like doing, like, yeah, you just train to failure. And it's like, are you sure? This is back in like 2010 or 11, whenever CrossFit like first got big. And we're all like doing it. And then like halfway through, a warrant officer walked in the room and this guy was fit. Like this guy ran marathons. This guy knew working out. Like that was his, he was old and he was fit. He walks in the room and he just stands there for like 10 minutes watching us do this. He pulls the sergeant over. You see the sergeant walk away. And he's like, okay, everyone, PT's over. You're never doing this shit again. This is retarded. People said that word back then. He's like, yeah, no, no, you're never doing this again. It's like somebody's gonna get hurt. There's a difference between like working out with the potential of getting hurt and then working out where there's a good chance of getting hurt. And having like 30 guys who've never done CrossFit before suddenly do some high intensity train to failure CrossFit thing where you're lifting a barbell over your head with like too much weight is like, yeah, no. Someone's gonna get hurt and I don't, exactly, that's why that is the, I am in charge of you all. And if somebody gets hurt, I have to do the paperwork for it. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna do a little troubleshooting. We're gonna do a little feedback back and forth. Watch people do, CrossFit pull-ups are bullshit. They are not a pull-up. Also, proper pull-up is hands over bar, okay? If this is the bar, you hold it like this, okay? Why? You don't climb a fence like this, okay? This is a chin-up. It is an exercise. Chin-ups are an exercise. But whenever you're like training for actual real-world stuff, you do pull-ups because you can't grab a fence to climb over it like this. You grab a fence like this. You grab a wall like this. You grab the thing you're climbing over like this, okay? And controlled up, controlled down. None of this flopping like a fish shit. that just, it's performative. Okay. I need an arch-based setup. The benefits aren't worth it. Best would be basalite for instance. Immutable, can't ever kill it properties because you're always 5 seconds. Yeah. Like here's the thing. I don't want my operating system to do anything. I just want it to exist so that I can do the things I want to do. I want to load Discord, Firefox, or whatever flavor of the month browser we're all on now because we keep jumping ship because of ad block and AI being shoved in everything. Or AI being stripped out, or AI being shoved in and ad blocker stripped out. and like play games and run some programs. I don't want to care about the operating system. Windows is getting really annoying. That's why I stuck with Windows for so long. It just did what I wanted it to do, but now it's like every time it pops up, it's like Copilot's there. I'm like, what the frick are you doing here? I killed you. Go away. So yeah. Okay. So people do CrossFit pull-ups. They can do 100 0-rep pull-ups. Yeah. Pop OS is good, but the UX, yeah, Windows becoming terrible. It is. Also, all the data collection stuff is I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay. So, remember at the beginning of the stream, I was talking about things we need to do for the next year on the channel. I need to finish the projects that I have started, and I need to put out more videos. So, first things first, reminder. This is a reminder for everyone in chat right now. Go on the Discord, okay? If you haven't joined the Discord, oh look, there's a link in chat once the bot fills it in. Come on, Nightbot. There you go. Hey, join the Discord if you haven't. On the Discord, there is a channel called... Where is it? Look what I printed. Okay? You are all going to go in this channel and post something that you're proud of from the last year. One thing. Could be like a project. Could be a build. Could be something you printed. Just... I want everyone here, because on the Tuesday stream, because it's the last stream of the year, we're going to do a little community powwow stream where we all sit down and we go through this and we have some fun and we chat and we yap and we, look back on the year. But this is, I want you all to post something in here. Something you did last year. It can be multiple things. It can be multiple things. It can be a short video. But just, this is your chance to show off something you're proud of. Self-promotion is okay. I don't care. We're going to be looking at stuff. So if you are very proud of something that you did in the last year, it has to be somewhat tangibly related to 3D printing, prop making, cosplay. As long as it's in the ballpark, honestly, there's no rules for this. I did pin some rules. There are some pinned rules, I think. Yeah, they're right here. But like, yeah. So I want everyone to go check on there. You don't have to do it right now, but on Tuesday, I will do a ping tomorrow or Monday or something reminding people, and then I'll do another ping on Tuesday. But on the Tuesday stream, which will be an afternoon stream, we're going to go through this and we're going to take a look at everything's thing. Obviously, make sure it's not safe for work. It's got to be YouTube safe, blah, blah, blah. So post stuff in here, okay? So that is that. There are no rules. In terms of, there's guidelines, okay? Obviously, you can't post anything that's not safe for work. Obviously, I want you posting stuff that you made, not just like, I found this random cool thing on our 3D printing and I'm just copying and pasting it. No, something you did. But in terms of like, well, you only 3D printed this hook on this project, so we're not, no, it's like close enough. As long as it's tangentially related to something related to the channel, good enough. Okay, next project. I need some advice. This is the power armor. This is what's partially done on the power armor. I have most of the upper body stuff for it printed. I just have to reprint the chest piece, the front and back chest piece, and do all the post-processing for the upper. But I've got the boots, I've got the calves, I've got the thighs, and I've got the butt pad and the crotch pad all done. I need to figure out how to wear this damn thing. If you want to know why the power armor has been stuck in hiatus for like the past year, it's because I don't know how to wear this. Because like I'm at the point now with like the Mando armor, I want to redo a bunch of it because of mobility issues. It's too hard to move around. I want this to be easily movable in. Long johns. That's actually kind of what I'm thinking. I have been looking at potentially getting a pair of like, where are these? Like Dickies. Yeah. Basically like getting a pair of Dickies or something. Like we'll go with like this. And then the plan is I need this to be able to something that I can put on and off by myself. Okay. So what I'm thinking for the lower body, have the thigh parts and like the crotch pad and the butt pad just be attached to a pair of coveralls, right? Just a pair of coveralls like this, right? Because they can't be pants. I need something like over my shoulders to hold the weight up, right? Straps, I did try straps. The problem with straps, everything moved too much, okay? That was the problem I had with straps. The thigh pads were constantly like shifting. Like everything was kind of shifting. I need something that'll hold it better in position for it to work. Because everything started rotating. That's one of the problems I have. The power armor or the Mando suit I have, everything on the upper body is great. I love it. Okay? Everything stays in because it's all Velcro to a vest. And the vest is tight on my body. So nothing moves on the upper body. But on the lower body, like my calf parts, everything is like held on with straps, and it all kind of, it shifts and rotates. I could never get it to sit right. And that is basically what's held up this, is these parts right here, the thighs and the waist. So what I'm thinking is get a pair of like coveralls. Because one, black coveralls, like the heavy duty material, will kind of help for the seam gap as well. I do have some other stuff to fill the gaps between like the knee joints and whatnot, because you don't want to see, the worst part about seeing like people's DIY power armor is you have the big blocky armor and then you have like the gap between like the arm part and the upper arm part, and you just see the scrawny little arm and there's like nothing. I hate that. I hate that. It's all got to be filled. So what I'm thinking is get something like this and just cover it with Velcro. And just have everything like Velcroed on. So that way I could put the coveralls on, put the thighs on, hold them in place, and then step into the boots. Because for those that don't know, these boots are all one piece. And there's no straps in them. They're like heavy duty boots in there. They weigh like 15 pounds each. But they're heavy duty boots. So once you step into them, you just step into them. You don't have to like, put them on and then like Velcro them in. You just step into them and they're on. They're actually heavy duty rubber boots inside these. So, a muscle man onesie. That might work. And then for the upper body, I'm thinking of doing something similar with like a jacket. So basically have like a jacket. So have the front chest piece not be attached. Have like a jacket you put on. The jacket has like the back part on, and then has like the arms on. So you basically put the jacket on, there's your whole upper body, and then you put the chest piece on with like Velcro or magnets, because that's how I do the power armor, or the Mando suit. It's all just Velcroed on a vest. So put the jacket on, go with like a heavy jacket, so it kind of looks like the under part of the power armor, and then just put the vest or chest on. And then the helmet is the helmet. The helmet's already done. So yeah, I'm thinking grab this. Sounds sweaty. It's gonna be, dude, it's gonna be, the suit weight is gonna weigh like 80 pounds. It's heavy as shit. Like, let me go grab one of the boots. Let me just go grab one of the boots just to show you. Okay, let me turn this on. Where's my scale? Okay. That's the right boot. That's the right boot. Okay, so you're on. So this boot weighs a total of, oh, it's only 8 pounds. Calibrate. Calibrate. Yep, turn off. Okay, that's too not heavy enough. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I was wrong. It weighs like 10 pounds. So this is the boot. So this is the boot. It's got decent movement, actually. Like, it's not a ton of movement, but it's enough. But if you look in the side, you can see there's just a rubber boot in there. Literally like a $15 Amazon special rubber boot. And then a bunch of padding and Velcro that I actually don't need anymore. There is Velcro clasp, so I can actually take this off if I want to. And there is a knee pad here because the original plan was for me to actually put this onto my knee, but I don't actually need to. Also, this is how high I am not in the armor. Put the boot on. Is that a left foot? Yeah, that's oh no, that's a wrong foot. It's a right foot. 1 second here. It's a right foot. I grabbed the right foot. It's a boot time I finished it. I know. It's hard to put on with jeans. There you go. So this is how tall I am standing up normally. And in the power armor, I am this tall. I am a good 4 to 5 inches taller wearing this. There's that much like extra stuff. Here, I'll show you on this camera. This is awkward to walk in. Woo. Okay. Zoom out, zoom out. There's the mess. Cool, you can see the mess of my garage. So yeah, so that is that there. There we go. So yeah. So like, I've got decent movement. I can move the leg around quite a bit. And that just kind of sits there. Like, it's not too bad. But it obviously makes me taller. So yeah. Back to that print. Watch the printer print things printingly. So I'm thinking by the bib there. And then that way I can Velcro everything to it. And it should be a bit more rigid, I think. Pretty high without the armor, not tonight. I'm 5'9". With the boots on and the helmet, I'm like 6'5", 6'6", I think. It's not platform shoes. So what it is, actually, I might have a video on it. I should have video. I have a ton of B-roll on it, but I never made the video. 3D import. Power armor. T45 power armor. Yeah, the last thing I worked on it was January of last year. Yeah, like I think this. Yeah. So this is the first setup I tried. So I bought this like fall harness on Amazon. This like, it's like a $40 fall harness. And I had these parts like strapped to it. The problem is everything, it didn't sit right. Like everything wasn't held in right. And I didn't like it. I didn't like, because everything was like being pulled up from the straps where I wanted it to like kind of, instead of it being hung, I wanted it to be attached. But everything was being hung here, and you could see how like everything shifts out of position. I didn't like it. So, but like mobility ain't too bad. Mobility ain't too bad. Yeah, I'm using up all my VATS points. Also, the butt pad's too high up. Yeah, it ain't protecting anything. But you can see how these are shifting inward. So like, that's the thing. I need them to not move. So if I put a bunch of Velcro around the legs, at least when I put them on, I could just like Velcro everything in position and then it just stays there. So. Left leg's on the right leg. Well, you could tell which leg is which because on the inside there's no padding. So see how, when I turn here, yeah. See these little nubs, these are on the outside. They're not on the inside. So it's not too bad. Also, in terms of the power armor, if you've been watching Fallout Season 2, those suits are amazing, and there are actually people in those suits. I love the practical effects. But the thing is, I'm trying not to do power armor based on the current power armor. I'm trying to do the Fallout New Vegas type power armor. Okay? So, Fallout 4 T45. So, to put it in perspective, this and this are the same suit of armor. This is 9 feet tall. This is human size. They are the same armor. So this is more like if you played Fallout, you get in it from the back. This is just you put it on. Like this is more knight armor. This is more Iron Man Mark 1. Okay, in terms of like how they're... So the suit of armor I'm trying to do is basically mostly this style of power armor, not this style of power armor. Like in this style of power armor, these are the actual hands. These are your hands. In this style of power armor, your hands are actually in here, and these are fully robotic hands. Just to give you an idea of the size difference. So that's the problem with trying to do Fallout cosplay. There's no set standard. They changed it between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. Power armor became a wholly different type of armor. So, although the show I think they use the T60 in the show. Like the armor that they actually use on the show is freaking insane though. Like these are practical suits of the T60. Also, I'm doing T45, not T60. But these are like fully practical suits that they used in the show. Like there are people in these suits running around and whatnot. If you haven't seen the show, it's insane. So. Also, they changed it where now there's a faceplate that comes up. That wasn't in the lore. So it's almost like they had professional prop makers. I know. Whereas I'm just a guy 3D printing shit. Show is current now. I know they're airing season 2 right now. Dude, it's so good. They are really doing a good job with like capturing the Fallout-ness of it. Okay, so I will order those coveralls, and then the Tuesday stream, we're going to be looking at stuff and planning other stuff, because we have a list here. I got the astromech, the power armor, that build. We got to finish this build. We got to finish we got a bunch of stuff. We're going to make a list on the Tuesday stream where it's going to be like 2026 plans for the channel. The no vaccine. There's already a mod for Fallout New Vegas to turn the dinosaur around, because if you play New Vegas, the dinosaur is facing away from the pool, not towards the pool. So apparently somebody already made a mod to turn the dinosaur around to make it show accurate. Also, patrol in the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. That was like the best way I think you can incorporate a meme line from an NPC in the show or in the game into the show. The way they incorporated that line, at first you're like, ha ha ha, and then when it dawns on you what's happening, you're like, oh shit. Yeah, the Cocoa Press, yep. Gotta do that. Got into it after that one short made by... It would be cool, like, once I get the suit done, to do like a little short or something. Because I have the helmets done. I have the helmet done. I also have a las pistol, and I have the Ripper done. So I just need to finish the suit. I'm also working on Shroud. If you haven't played Dispatch, pick it up. I think it's still on a Steam sale. If you like story games, it's about an 8-hour game. the game itself, there isn't much game to it. Like, there is gameplay, but you can't really lose. It's more a interactive story than anything. But the bad guy in it is... I'm trying to find a full body picture of him. I'm trying not to spoiler stuff, so I'm like... Try not to spoiler stuff, so... But basically, his costume is basically just like a sweater and a mask. What are these redirects? Why can't I redirect? What the heck's going on here? That's a YouTube video. I'm trying to find pictures of them that don't spoil anything. Okay, here we go. No. Open image in new tab. Oh my God, come on. Yeah. So like this is Shroud, okay? So it's basically like a hood with a trench coat and just like heavy duty gloves and then a mask. So the mask is, there's LEDs. I want to try doing the LEDs so that the eye rotates. Because like the eye has like a little like range finder focusing effect on it. So I'm printing the mask right now because, I mean, a sweater and coveralls isn't exactly a hard, or and a trench coat isn't exactly hard to find. So this would be a very pretty easy cosplay to throw together. So that'll be a fun little video, I think. I'm just printing it all right now. So, would you join the Pluribus hive mind? Oh, hell no. Who here watched the season finale of Pluribus? Okay. I'm going to talk about it, but I'm going to give you a spoiler warning. So, as long as you see the delicious gamer subs here, I am talking about Pluribus. So if you want to mute. When this is gone, spoilers are off. Okay? So this is your warning. I'm going to start talking about Pluribus. If you haven't seen it yet, don't watch it. You can unmute the stream when I move this over here. Okay? So spoilers start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Okay. The opening scene where was she Himalayan? I can't remember where she's from exactly. Where she gets plurbed, and like as soon as she like breathes it in and she becomes part of the hive mind, basically everything turns off. Like before that, everyone's singing, they're in the village, the animals are around, and everything's like all hunky-dory. And then the moment she like becomes part of the hive mind and she just gets up and she just becomes part of the crowd. Peruvian, that's what it was. Yeah, Peruvian. She just becomes part of the crowd, and they stop pretending. Like all singing stops, all talking stops. They just, okay, well, this little village doesn't make sense because the only reason they kept the village going was for her to try and convince her to join the hive, because it's all manipulation. And then so she joins the hive, and then all of a sudden it's like the game's over. Like everything, it's like they stop singing, they stop talking, they collect everything of value, and they just leave. That culture is dead. And she's just a drone now, right? There is that person ceases to exist. And then the whole episode, Mamoose shows up, and he is acting exactly like Carol did at the beginning, and Carol's acting like the other people. It's like, why didn't you just talk to them? And Mamoose is like, what the frick you mean talk to them? They're an invasion. And that's exactly how Carol was. So Mamoose is basically just Carol from 60 days ago. And then she F's off to go live her fantasy life because she knows she's lying to herself. She knows. But then like, when they're like, oh shit, actually we have a way to make you part of the hive against your will. And she's like, don't do this. And they're like, and Zosha's like, hey, we're going to do it anyways because we love you. Remember, Carol's parents put her through a, what are the Americans call it? Conversion camp or whatever, where they try to pray the gay away or whatever. And her parents, this is exactly a flashback to what her parents did when she came out as a teenager, where they're like, we're going to send you away to somewhere. We're going to make you better because we love you. And now she's experienced it exactly again. And she's going to be like, holy hell, the mental torment that she is going through. And then she shows up at the end with Mamoose and like gets dropped off, and all the hive is avoiding them because They have to, because they can make them die by basically yelling at them. So the hive is avoiding them. And she just has a fucking nuke. She's like, what's in the box? An atom bomb? Because they can't say no. And they can't directly hurt anyone, but they have to, you know, if she asks for an atom bomb, they have to give her an atom. So now she has a F you, I ain't ever joining the hive thing. Because she has a freaking atom bomb. So yeah. Okay. So I can't wait for season 2. I really wish. I don't want to wait 2 years. I want to know where this story is going because I am invested. Okay, that's enough. Okay, done with the pluribus spoilers. I cannot wait. Like, it is good. I am a sucker for a well-written slow burn like that. That gives you time to just absorb it. So, I just wish there was more to absorb. Okay, yeah, the poor little goat. Yeah. How to mute the tablet. Just found it just in time. Well, that mask is coming up good. Okay. What time are we at? We're at 10:17. Okay. You're really making a lot of... Honestly, Christopher, this is the first show in years that I am watching as it comes out. My Game of Thrones rule, I still actually hold it into effect. I made an exception for this rule, to my rule, because one, it's Vince Gilligan. He has a very good track record. And two, the premise actually excites me. So, the premise actually excites me. It's actually a relatively decent take. Like, it's something different. Instead of like, I don't know, most other TV nowadays. And I am all for it. So. John gave it a solid 4 out of 5. It's obviously not for everyone. It is obviously not for everyone. But if you are looking for I give it credit for how funny it is. But not like quippy, haha, Marvel funny. Like actual, like, there's some decent humor in there. Like, there are times where I, like, full out burst out laughing. But it's like, and also the fact that, like, Vince Gilligan, he did an interview. He's like, what if there was like an alien invasion or a zombie invasion? But you it wasn't so cut and dry if it was evil or not. Because they're not ill-intentioned. They're just a hive mind with a biological urge. They're not doing anything evil. That's just how they operate. You wouldn't call a lion evil for eating an animal. That's just how they are. Well, that's what this virus did to the human race. It turned them into a thing that has to do what it has to do. So, you got halfway through the first episode. Well, you got halfway through. Nothing happens in the first. Chris, you got to watch the whole episode. The whole first episode is just setting it up. So. Season 2 is going to be... I know. Also, I want to know how they spent $15 million an episode. It is beyond... It's evil because you're human. And you have a conscience. But, like, a bacteria isn't evil. Cancer isn't evil. It's just... It does what it does. We project evil onto things because we're humans and we like to anthropomorphize everything, but it's just doing what it does, right? Even like the new 28 Days Later movie, the rage infected people aren't evil. They're just animals doing what animals do. Do you have the right to go, you know, you go out, you hunt the zombies in 28 Days Later. Yeah, you're going out and hunting zombies, but like, how different is that from you going out and hunting a lion, right? Why are you going into their territory? Why are you actively let them do their thing? Why do you have to go there? Why do you have to be there? Well, just let them do their thing. They're not bugging you over there. Why are you going over there? Why are you attacking them? Let them do their thing. They spent 15 million. It's in my nature, says the scorpion. Yep. But why is the scorpion talking? Scorpions don't talk. Turn into a thing that can't even pick an apple. Yep. I I was gonna start watching Stranger Things. Here, we'll cut to this camera so you guys can watch the printer print. I was gonna start watching Stranger Things now that it's ending, and actually after hearing some of the stuff about season 5, I don't know if I want to. It's seeming very like I guess the actress who plays 11 or whatever has had a bunch of plastic surgery and like Botox and whatnot, and people are like, it takes you out of every scene she's in because she's supposed to be playing this teenager in the 80s, and she has like, you know, almost Mar-a-Lago face going on, I heard. So I love how Fallout has essentially no H-bombs. Yeah, Fallout is the future of the 50s. What we thought the future would be in the 1950s, that is the Fallout universe. Also, it operates on comic book logic, okay? So Fallout operates on comic book logic where atom bombs give you, like, turn people into ghouls and radiation mutates you. And also it's based on like the future of the 50s. So cars are nuclear powered, and, you know, in the Fallout universe, I think transistors were invented like 10 years before the bombs fell. So there are some transistors, but I don't think microchips exist in the Fallout universe. I don't think. Also, they finally kind of explain it, because people have been for years going, it's been 200 years since the bombs fell. Why is the world still a crap sack piece of shit? Why haven't we rebuilt anything? Just think of how far we've come in the past 200 years. How come we haven't rebuilt anything? It's because Vault-Tec keeps, every time something crops up to start rebuilding civilization, Vault-Tec knocks it off, because Vault-Tec wants everyone gone so that they can fully control. They don't want the surface having civilization. That's why they took out Shady Sands. So every time civilization starts to get a foothold again, Vault-Tec cuts it down. So that explains why the universe is still, like, the Fallout world is still shitty, even 200 years later. Yeah, but that, John S., that's in our world, not the Fallout. The Fallout world is like, they just never invented them until like very recently, before, like, the bombs fall in 2076 or 77, I think. 2076, I think. It is great. People's expectation unreal, and we grew up watching 30-year-olds playing high schoolers. I know that's true. I think one of the other things I read was the biggest problem with Stranger Things is it took too long. Like, it's 5 seasons of a show that have taken like 12 years to make. And I think it's just like, it's been such a slow burn. Like, I was reading something where it's like, if this had come out like yearly, it would have been much bigger. But because it's been like so long, it's like, holy shit, get it over with. So I don't know. Maybe I will watch Stranger Things, but I gotta watch Andor still. Couldn't make it. Well, the Fallout universe is different. They have power armor. We don't have power armor. Where's my power armor? It's printing right now. Okay, what do you guys want to work on now? We got like half an hour left in the stream. What do you guys want to yap about? Is there anything worth, like, anything in the 3D printing community that we can go down? Any rabbit holes, anything? I know, who was it? Grant just put out his video on the Bamboo A1s and the melting issue that they're having with their heater board or something. I watched that today, and it's like, why are they just cheaping out? Like, it's like, we've known how to make heaters not melt stuff down for years, and they just have an overheating piece of metal inside a plastic housing. Like, come on. Yeah, the power board. Like, I'm sure it's not that expensive of a fix. It's just every time the company just screams, we know what we're doing. Don't tell us what to do. Every time something crops up with Bamboo, it just kind of gives me the aura of, oh great, you're pointing out our flaws. Thank you. Like, it just seems very, I don't know. It's going over the specs for the parts. There is no headroom. Yeah. Well, remember, everything is designed to work on 220. Unless they changed it. Every Bamboo I have has a 220 bed in it, and it runs at half speed at 110. So I'm wondering if just the whole machine is designed for lower amperage, 220, and it just happens to work within 110 margins, and they just ship it. Because China's 220, Europe's 220, it's just North America. So why have two different SKUs when you could just design everything for 220 and then ship it to North America where the heaters take twice as long to heat up for the bed? So. Grant said it happens on 220 as well. Ooh, that's not good then. That's really not good. Well, is it, the beds are the beds mains on the A1? I don't know. Because if they're dropping it down to a voltage, then that voltage, yeah. But yeah, it's like, come on guys. You're like, in terms of volume, like the #1 3D printer company in the world. Make not shit. A1 has, oh, that's right. It's Baines. Yep, they had the power cord issue where if you tilted the printer, you could break the cable. It just, I don't know. The fact that they still haven't shown up for a Rep Rap Fest. Apparently they're going to be at Smurf this year, I think. They're like a top tier sponsor at Smurf this year. So maybe I'll finally meet somebody from Bamboo. And I will thank them for showing up to a community event. Because, you know, for one of the biggest companies in 3D printing, the fact that they don't show up for any Rep Rap Fests or maker fairs or anything, the only thing they show up for is the big suit and tie events. That screams what they care about their audience. Like, come on guys, just show up for a frickin' Rep Rap Fest. Send a couple guys, fly them over, put them in a hotel for a weekend, have a table, have people to talk to. H2C will be #1 for long. Just can't compete. Oh, the H2C is DOA. The H2C, in my opinion, is I've talked about it. I went on like a 15-minute rant one of the streams after they announced it, or after it was finally announced, instead of them announcing it and then announcing it again, so they can get credit for doing it twice. The H2C is just DOA. Like, it's not as good as a tool changer by any metric. Tool changers are faster, use less waste, are more efficient, and the less chance, like, a tool changer is better than the Vortex system in every single way. And the Vortex system is more complicated and more expensive than a single nozzle AMS setup every single way. It's trying to have the benefits from both, but instead it has the downsides of both. You have the cost and complexity of a tool changer, but the slowness and the downsides of the AMS system. You can't feed flexibles. You got to be careful about filament breaking in the Bowden tubes. You still have to wait for it to unwind the filament all the way from the nozzle all the way back because it still uses one extruder. It literally is like, how can we make an index system but not make the index system? Every benefit the index has, they didn't copy. If you're going to copy something, freaking copy it. But they didn't. They kind of have this weird, I don't know if it's because they're all in, like they've completely turned their entire focus on multicolor and AMSs. Everything has to be an AMS. They couldn't just, like, you know what, the AMS, we've revised it. It is as good as it's gonna get. Let's make something new. But instead, they're like, no, we got to drag, we've spent, the AMS is our ecosystem. We have to use this. Well, why don't you just make a proper tool changing system, right? Why does your Vortex system, like, one, you're designing it to work in the existing H2. So that means all dimensional and size constraints have to make, so you have to make a system that works in the existing printer. So you can't, like, oh, we'll just put them on the front like the index. No, you can't do that. You have to, like, they're handicapping themselves to try and keep their ecosystem instead of, like, okay, start fresh. New printer, designed with a tool changer in mind. But they didn't. They're like, no, we want to keep using our AMS. Well, that's going to make it slow, and you're going to have all these filament, like, you're not going to be able to use flexibles, and like, you're going to have all the downsides of the AMS. But you made it in the H2 chassis, which means you're limited to, like, now you have to have this whole pivoting rack pinion thing, which is more mechanical things that can fail, and timing that you have to worry about. And because of that, you can't have filament constantly loaded, so you have to cut the filament off every time so that you can retract it out and put it back. Like, it's a system designed in a bubble. It's like Bamboo's like, let's make a multicolor system that uses slightly less filament and waste, right? Because you don't have to purge as much. You still have to prime, but you don't have to purge as much. So it's still slow. It doesn't waste quite as much filament, and it's designed in a bubble where tool changers don't exist. If tool changers didn't exist, the Vortex system would be sweet. But unfortunately, tool changers in the index system exist. So it makes the Vortex system look like what were you thinking? Like, you didn't read the assignment. The only thing it won is, hey, they got it to the market first. But it's like a Snapmaker U1. How many Snapmaker U1s can you buy for the cost of a Vortex with the 2 AMS units? Because remember, to fully use the Vortex system on the H2C, you need 2 AMSs. Because 1 AMS is only 4, and there's 6 nozzles in the Vortex system. So you need 2 AMS units. So you need to buy an H2C. It comes with 1 AMS, I believe, and then you got to buy a second AMS. How many Snapmaker U1s can you buy? 4? So you can buy 4 Snapmaker U1s, and they're going to dance. The only advantage the H2C has is volume. You know how you answer the volume question? It's called 3D Gloop. Go buy some. Use code Canuck. Like, also, all the nozzles, all the hot end nozzle assemblies, they are proprietary. They have a chip in them, so if you ever jam it up, you can't take a blowtorch to it or anything because you're going to fry the chip. They're proprietary, which means good luck. There's never going to be an aftermarket system for it. The only options you're going to have are Bamboo options, and those approved by Bamboo because it's all locked down ecosystem, walled garden. It's I think it's DOA. I think it's DOA. Like, yeah, it'll sell. For some people, it'll be popular. For the Bamboo fanboys, they'll love it. But it seems like, guys, you could have had a much better system. You could have had a much better system. You thought the H2C was 1,500 USD? Oh, hell no. All right, so let's make it fun. Up to $300,000. Buy now. Okay, so H2C. Let me put in Yankee Doodle dollars. USA! USA! So that's the combo. It comes with 1 AMS. Also, you have to buy another AMS because you're only able to use, it needs 7 nozzles and this only is 4. So we need to add how do you add another AMS? Oh, don't forget to buy the $80 bed so that your printer that they ship to you prints properly. Because if you don't buy the $80 bed, your printer won't print well. If you want dimensionally accurate prints, don't forget to buy the $80 bed. And it's only $36 per nozzle. That isn't fixable. It's back ordered. And then how much is an AMS? AMS 2? Oh, it's another $300. Okay. So yeah, so you're looking at what, $2,700 US, $2,700 US. It was nozzle cross-contamination. Yeah. Which all tool changers don't have that issue. Versus the index, where the index nozzles cost the same price, but they have no electronics in them at all. They're, yeah. Also, you could just buy the nozzle and as many nozzles as you want and rack them up depending on how big your printer is. It's more expensive than a Prusa Core 1L plus Index 6 or 8 units. Yeah. Honestly, just wait for the Core 1L with Index. Buy a Core 1L and slap an Index on it. The Index system is like, what, $300 for the tool head and then like $35 a nozzle. And the rest is 3D printed mounts that you can do yourself. Easy peasy. So this whole thing screams like, they were working on it. I don't think they pushed it out as a reaction to the Index. I think it's just, they didn't want to, because they have a history of, hey, bed flingers suck, buy our Core XY. By the way, our second printer is a Core XY, is a bed flinger. So they kind of have a history of saying something sucks and then coming out with that thing. So I think they didn't want to do that again, where it's like, oh, AMSs suck. Buy our thing. By the way, keep buying our AMSs for all our other printers. So, any news on the Phoenix? I can't speak on that. I think it was a reaction. No, they were working on it for a while. From my understanding, they were working on it for a while. From what I've heard from multiple people in the industry, hearsay, chatter at events that I've kind of picked up, it's just Bamboo is very invested in their ecosystem. They are all in on their multicolor is king AMS derived ecosystem. And that's what they're going to stick with, because it's all about multicolored knickknacks for your Etsy store that has completely flooded the market. Every time I go to a frickin' any sort of community sales event, Art in the Park, you know, farmer's market, there's like half a dozen tables selling random shitty 3D prints printed on bamboos. They've completely created that ecosystem out of nowhere and they've flooded it. And now people are getting burned because they've invested all this. And, you know, when I show up to the table at the end of the year and they still have prints that they were showing 6 months ago that haven't sold yet. So I think they just basically, like, they've decided this is what we're doing. We're all in on it. We're going to do our thing. And I think they just kind of, they went all in on single nozzle multi-material. And now that Snapmaker's out with the U1 and cheap tool changing is here, I've said it before, and I've spoken to many people, once you use a tool changer, it will make systems like the AMS look Neanderthalic. Like, once you actually use a tool changing 3D printer, you will realize how much single nozzle multi-material setups suck. Because they're not multi-material, they're multicolor with certain filaments. And they waste a lot of filament and they're slow. Tool changing doesn't have any of those downsides. Tool changers are better in every way other than cost. And guess what? Cost is now not really a factor. So. I don't think you could buy 5. I think you can only buy 4. Cries in box turtle. Box turtle's cool. I got a box turtle. Box turtles work great if you need it. I'm not saying single nozzle multi-material is dead. I'm just saying once you use a tool changer, it feels like it. But I mean, like, if you only have one printer and you're only going to print the odd multicolor thing every now and then, or hue forges. Hue forges are, if you do a lot of hue forges, single nozzle multi-material setups are great for hue forges because they're very low cost. They don't waste a lot of filament because you're only printing like a dozen layers. You're only doing a couple filament changes. And you can bootstrap it, especially with the box turtle. You can bootstrap it on any printer. So if you got a big 350 Voron that you know you're going to mostly be printing ABS on it, one big thing, but every now and then you want to do a hue forge or something, a box turtle is great for that. I'm not saying it's killing the ecosystem. I'm just saying at a certain point, it starts to not become efficient. Like, put it this way. I have right now for multi-material, I have a Prusa XL, I have a ProForge 300, and I have a Prusa Mark IV S with an AMS on, or an MMU3 on it. Those are all hooked up, ready to go. The last thing I printed multi-material was part for the little Star Wars droid that I did, and that was on the XL. I haven't done any multicolor, multi-material since then. So, box serial and AMS become filament roll empty, swap to, yep. That's another good case for it too, is filament rollover, which on bigger machines, once you start getting printers above 300, 350, you really want some sort of filament rollover, or at least a filament runout sensor. Did I get the ProForge? Honestly, I stopped fiddling with it. I fiddled with it for a bit. I got a couple prints out of it, but then I kept having MCU timing issues with the different tool heads. So I don't know if it's the tool head board, if it's the splitter board, if it's the Linux SoC board, but it's I can't print reliably on it without it timing out and causing an error. And after it doing that a bunch of times, I just got a little frustrated with it. It's just kind of collecting dust for now. Well, maybe we'll pull it back out and faff with it. But yeah. You want each filament to not be fully loaded in the index tool to allow filament swaps without having to dock each tool. You want each filament to not be fully loaded in the index tool to allow filament swap. So with the index, it does retract the filament a little bit before it lets it go, but not enough where like you could just pull the filament out, because there's such a low thermal mass on the index. So the inductive heater is basically constantly dumping heat into the hot end nozzle because there's so little thermal mass in there. The moment it turns off the heater, the nozzle cools pretty quickly. So the advantage you have is you basically freeze the filament where it's at. So you stop heating it, you do a little retract, and it basically just the filament freezes, and then it goes to the next one and grabs it, and then it heats it back up, do a quick little prime, and go right to printing. Steve has one, so he's done a bit more index stuff than me. I don't have a beta unit. That makes changing filament difficult. Well, what you would do, it wouldn't actually be that difficult. It would be like the Prusa XL, where it's like, okay, I need to change filament. You select which tool. It would just grab the tool. It would heat it up. It takes 5 seconds to heat it up, and then it would just retract it. And then you just load the new one in, and then you go to the next tool. So it honestly wouldn't be that hard. It would be like doing the XL, only probably quicker. So you would just select which tool you want to swap. It would grab it, would heat it up, unload, you load new filament in, and it goes and docks it and grabs the next one. So, like, I'm sure you could set it up in a way where like you could tell it to like automatically unload all the tools when it's done printing. But here's the thing, it has to hold on to the filament, because once the tool lets go of once the tool head lets go of the tool, there is nothing to hold that filament in the nozzle. Okay? Because remember, the nozzles, the tools themselves have no mechanics to them at all. They're a tube with a heat sink and a silicone sock, right? So the moment it lets go of that, something has to hold that filament in there. So it has to solidify in the melt zone. Otherwise, you know, it could just flop out potentially, right? So there's that. Plus, when you go to grab it and during the print, it's less to purge, right? So, yeah, the Core One doesn't. Yeah, they don't even need how it does it, because Prusa's just so good with their profiles and everything and the tuning and everything. They just know their machine so well. It basically does when the print's done, the Prusa basically does an unload, but not a full unload. It basically does an unload and pulls the filament up to just before the extruder were to let go of it. So if you got your, here, I'll pull up some NASA grade artistic rendering software here. Okay, so you got your next extruder gear. Okay, so you got your little gears here. Okay, and then you have your, your heat break, your nozzle, and then you have your, Okay, well, okay, the nozzle's upside down, but you get it. So what it does when the filament's printing, right? When the filament's doing stuff, it's down here, it's going blah, 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 blah. And then normally on most prints, when you're done, you might do like a little retract. Well, with the Prusa, it does like a full unload cycle where it like does a quick little like tip form thing, a little purge and a tip form. And then it retracts it up to like here. Okay. So then that way, if you want to, you know, the print finishes 2 hours later, you come out to your garage, you grab the print out and you're like, hey, I want to, the spool's empty. I want to swap to a different spool because this one's almost empty, or I want to swap colors. You just hit unload and it just goes, oh, okay. And it sucks it out. Whereas most printers, they leave it like down here still in the melt zone. So it's like still down here in the melt zone. So it's just, you know, tuned enough. And then on print start, it does that little big purge in air and then cleans it off. So yeah. So I've had Rebo nozzles do I can't remember if it's a 5 or 10 millimeter track. When you're done a print with a Rebo nozzle, a stock Rebo nozzle on a Voron, if you do, I think it's a 10 millimeter retract. You do a quick little like +2, -2, +3, -3. I can't remember exactly what it is, but you do a quick little tip forming thing, and then you do like a 10 mil retract. That is enough that if you want to unload the filament, it's already broken and you can just pull it out after a print finishes. And then what you do is just on the start of your print, you just do a big fat purge. That's usually what I do. All my printers are set up to do a really big purge at the start of a print. So that way, if I load filament in it, I can just like unlatch it, throw the filament in, lock the latch and call it a day. I don't have to heat it up and like purge it through the melt, because that big purge I do at the start of the print will purge out the old filament, get the new stuff flowing, and then also having a skirt helps with that as well. So that won't work on index tools. Yeah, it won't work on index tools because again, on the index, the extruder gear is what latches and unlatches. So it's pretty cool. They have no extra servos or anything. There's a camming action to the extruder. So it hits a button, like a pin basically, that cams it open, that lets go of the filament, which basically lets go of the tool. It goes over, it docks, okay? Then it goes over to the next tool, and then all it does is engage the extruder motor for a second, and that cams it back in, which grabs the filament, grabs the tool, and then it goes off and does its printing. So it doesn't need extra servos, it's just a camming action to open and close the extruder. And it's an auto tensioning extruder. So it'll auto tension to whatever filament it needs to. So it's very clever, and it does stuff the way I like doing it, which is the least amount of things that can break. When I see the Vortex system and I see all these servos and like this whole rack and pinion thing where everything has to move reliably thousands of times, and it's like, that's something that can break. That's something that can break. And the fact that they have chips on their tool heads, isn't it inductive? Why do they need chips on the tool head? Like, the index system can heat the nozzles and read the temperatures without any electronics on the tool head. Why does Bamboo need to put electronics on the tool head? Like, I do know Bondtech has patented some of the index stuff. I don't know exactly what they have patented, but I know Bondtech has patented it, which good on them, because everyone's copying everyone nowadays. So honestly, the days of everything being open source, all come together, kumbaya, are over, because, you know, bad actors. And not really bad actors, people taking advantage of the graciousness of the open source community for profit. We'll word it that way. So the days of everything being free and open and kumbaya have kind of died if you have, you know, people on payroll. Sucks, but it is what it is. Can the index tool head detect nozzle size? Probably not. Probably not. You just tell it. You go into your settings and just tell it. I mean, yeah, the Vortex system being able to automatically know what nozzle you have loaded is kind of cool. Select, okay, settings, nozzle, nozzle 3, nozzle size 0.6. It saves you from doing that. I'd rather be able to go, oh shit, my $35 nozzle has a clog in it. Let me just take a heat gun to it and we're clear, and put it back in. Versus $35 every time that happens. So it's one of those things. It's like a little bit of a quality of life feature at the cost of complexity and unease of repairability. Also, it's $35 a pop per nozzle. How many nozzles, like honestly, how many nozzles are going to be running, like of different sizes? I could see having like a bunch of 0.4s and then maybe like 1.2 and then one like 1 millimeter, because you know it'd be really nice, because on a proper tool changer you're not wasting time purging and unloading AMS filament. So you can actually do things like print your infill with like a 1 millimeter nozzle and save a ton of time on a print, where you can't do that with a system using AMS, because no matter what you do, you're still wasting 30 to 40 seconds every freaking filament change waiting for the AMS to spool and unspool the filament. So if infill would take you, you know, with a 0.4 nozzle, infill takes you 60 seconds. Well, if you swap that to a 1 millimeter nozzle, infill might take 25 seconds. So you're saving 35 seconds there. Sweet, awesome. Okay, but now you've added, okay, with an index system, you've added, okay, 5 to 10 seconds for the filament swap, you know, and a prime. So we'll say 15 seconds. So you're still saving 20 seconds per layer. On a 1,000 layer print, that's quite a bit. Now with an AMS system, it takes 40 seconds to unload the filament and load the new filament. And then you have to prime and purge. So any time saving that you would have had by swapping to a different nozzle, you've now lost due to the nozzle swapping time delay. So it doesn't make sense to do that at all. So the only time, so yeah. I personally don't think the time to swap is a big deal. I think the cost of parts is a bigger con. Yeah, honestly, like as somebody who doesn't do barely any multicolor printing, all this stuff is like, oh, that's cool. Maybe one of these companies will send me one so I can play around with it. But like, yeah. The fastest printer is more printer. Exactly. Also, go to a bigger nozzle. Max out your flow rate. Most machines can move faster than they can actually reliably lay down filament with bigger nozzles. Like, seriously. This printer right here, okay, obviously it's doing a bunch of overhang stuff, so it's going slow because it's doing a bunch of bridging and whatnot. But like, let me find a video here. Let me find a video. Where is a video? Okay, so see this? Okay, so this isn't that fast. This is laying down filament at 45 millimeters cubed a second. 0.6 nozzle, 0.3 layer height. I can't go any faster. This machine can move like much faster than this. But I can't because I am literally flow capped. I mean, it's not actually flow capped. I have some overhead. I'm just running it a little on safe margins right now. But like, this is capped at 45 millimeters cubed a second flow. So if you want to print faster, put a bigger nozzle on your printer. January to November 21st, I had over 100,000 tool changes. How many tool changes do I have on my Excel? Telemetry, statistics. Can I see it in the statistics page? I don't think I could see it in the statistics page. I think I have to actually go to the printer. Yeah, I have to go down to the printer to go actually look at my settings for the Excel. I don't think you can see it in Prusa Connect. Oh yeah, Kurt, just for example, like for Kurt here, from January to November to 1st, so like basically this year, they did 100,000 tool changes on their Prusa Excel. If it was if it was a minute a tool change, which that's roughly about a minute, is roughly how long it takes to do a color change on like a Prusa or an X1C with a stock AMS. That's like 50 days of just tool changes. Just 50 days of tool changes. Printer control panel. Printers. Yeah, no, I'm on the Excel. Control? Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere. I haven't printed on this printer in a while. Like I haven't printed on it in the past like month or so. Telemetry, settings, statistics. It doesn't tell you how many tool changes. I have to actually go to the printer itself. Yeah, I know, I gotta go to the XL. You know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna go see how many tool changes I have in my XL, because it did a bunch during the Gundam stuff. Let's see here. So, statistics. Oh, 26,000. Yeah, 26,000. So my XL only has 26,000 tool changes, but that would be 26,000 minutes of tool changing if it was a AMS system. So, is there any benefit to buying 0.4 Rio high flow brass over 9 high flow? Flow seems quite similar, but the price is 2x. Heater is 60 watt. I'll be honest, I've had mixed results with 0.4 millimeter high flow nozzles. Sometimes it's a little bit better. Sometimes it's jam happy. If you were running the 30 watt heater, I would say yes. If you're running the 60 watt heater, honestly, you want to know what my go-to has been lately? Just put a hardened nozzle on it. Honestly, for the money, get a nice like obsidian nozzle, like a nozzle you're just never gonna have to worry about, and throw it in there and move on with your life. I'd rather a nozzle I never have to worry about than one that prints a little bit faster. Pretty much all my printers now run a hardened nozzle of some sort. This one is running a 0.6 carbide nozzle. This has a 0.6 carbide nozzle. This has a 0.4 carbide nozzle. The Prusa Core 1L has the Prusa hardened 0.4 nozzle in it. That Core 1 has a Obsidian nozzle, or correction, an E3D Diamondback 0.4. That Core 1 is running the stock 0.4 high flow. That is the only printer I have out here that doesn't have a hardened nozzle on it, is that one right there. Every other one has a hardened nozzle in it. So, Obsidian or Obsidian high flow? Honestly, I've had 2 Obsidian high flow nozzles clog on me. The Obsidian means you're probably going to be printing with filled materials. Filled materials don't like tiny holes. And those nozzles split the filament, and I've had them clog on me. And they're a bitch to get unclogged. So, yeah. Is what it is. Is what it is. Go with a hardened nozzle, up your temps a bit, you'll be good. Gucci Diamondback. This had a Gucci Diamondback on it until it failed. So. Okay, we got 1 minute left. If you have not entered to win some Polymaker filament, do it now. Link in the video description. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, up, up. Yeah, put it this way. A 0.6 nozzle will beat out any 0.4 high flow any day. Honestly, I'm kind of really liking 0.6. Now that I've been running a 0.6 on the Venture XL for a while now, and everything's kind of getting better with tuning, 0.6, like, honestly, the quality difference in parts isn't that big of a difference that I'm noticing in terms of, like, surface finish. The amount of time I'm saving on a big printer like this, though, is insane. Honestly, a 0.5 hardened nozzle, like a really nice 0.5 hardened nozzle on most standard printers would honestly be my recommendation if they were more common. The problem is 0.5 nozzles that are hardened that are really good are like $100. I don't like spending $100 on nozzles. The nozzle in this one is it's a Fadis silicon carbide insert nozzle, and it was like $20. And honestly, it's working great. So. I do know the Prusa XLs had issues with the 0.6. I'm wondering if it's a flow thing. I'm wondering if high flow hot ends work better with bigger nozzles. Low flow hot ends work better with smaller nozzles. I think. I wonder if it's a back pressure thing or a melt zone thing with the formula. I'm sure there are people that are way smarter than me that there's like a whole flow like model in terms of how big a melt zone is, for how hot the melt zone is, for the nozzle geometry. I'm sure there's a whole formula to that FEA thing. I don't know. Around 0.8 for the string. Yeah, like you're going to be stringy with a 0.8, especially with a big melt zone. This is a 0.6 with a big ass melt zone. It's got a full tube in this. So driving back on a Core one and try one. Honestly, the Diamondback is nice, but they sent me it. Full disclosure, Diamondback sent me it. I really like it. It is a really nice nozzle. But side by side with like the other Prusas I have that are just running like normal hardened nozzles, you can't really tell much of a difference. The Diamondback, honestly, the Diamondback, I recommend the Diamondback for people that like, if your machine, if you know that machine is going to do nothing but print abrasive materials non-stop, a Diamondback makes sense. Okay? If you know your machine's only going to print abrasive materials, but not a ton of it, go with a regular hardened nozzle. If you know your machine's going to print a lot of normal stuff, and with the occasional, go with the regular hardened. The Diamondback stuff is for people that like also glow in the dark. If you print a lot of glow in the dark, get a like a really good hardened nozzle. But like, it is for those that uptime is critical, dimensional accuracy is critical, and you are printing tons of glass or carbon fiber filled stuff. Then it makes sense. Because you don't want to buy a cheap hardened nozzle that starts to blow out after a while, and then you don't realize it until geometry goes to shit. So, okay, let's do this giveaway. Let's do this giveaway. 2 sheets, create sheet. This is the first beer I've had in like, actually no, I did have a beer on Christmas Eve, but. Okay, Control A, Control E, Control that, file. Save. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, did I close the giveaway? Well, I don't know if I actually closed the giveaway or not, but I've got the names. So if I didn't close it and it's still open and you're trying to enter, it's closed. Sorry. How did that history? No, that's not the history. There it is. Okay, published. There, now it's closed. Okay, saved. Okay. Copy. Okay, let me put all these new names in because people, there's always somebody who enters at the very last minute. You have 3 hours to enter. There's always somebody at the very last minute. Files, save. There we go. Okay. Okay. Continue. There we go. Race. Random at names. Clear, open. 235. Finished. 235. There we go. Ooh, it's a new one. So, oh no, this is a new one. Anyways, how this works is if you win, you get a free spool of filament from Polymaker. But if I pick your ball and you win, you are the luckiest ball in the world and you get a free hat with your spool of filament. You look lonely, but not lonely enough. So I'm going to go with this one. John M. YTB. If you win, you get a free hat along with your spool of filament from Polymaker. Good luck. The beaker is beaking. Look at, okay, that's creepy. Those faces are creepy. What's with all the creepy face? Where'd they go? Oh, that's creepy. Okay. Exclamation mark zoom zoom makes your ball go faster. Exclamation mark gullible makes everyone else go slower. Like the smash button, ring the bell, and be subscribed to the channel. It'll actually grease your ball up and make it go even faster. Is Obsidian considered? Yes, Obsidian is a hardened nozzle. It's a hardened nozzle with a coating on it. It's a DLC coating. We used to coat these mold parts that were high wear items with a DLC coating called tribal coating. And I wonder how well that would work on a nozzle, because it was like a very slippery DLC finish called tribal coating, Tribol. So there's like all kinds of different DLC coatings you can get. I don't consent to losing. Doc Taft, that has as much, you know, legal precedent as like when people reposted stuff on their Facebook page going, I do not give Facebook the right to copy my likeness for AI training. You know, agree to all that shit when you log on for the website and you sign or you click the I accept the terms button. So all that, you've already agreed to all that. You can't just make a post on your page going, I don't agree anymore. I declare bankruptcy. By the way, the Marcus you see there is a ghost. Matt H is in the lead. Oh, here we go. So it's going to be whoever falls through first. Oh, Matt H. Cutting tool coating. Yeah, any sort of DLC would be, but some are, you got to be careful because some of them are temperature sensitive. Like they work better in different temperature ranges. So you need like I remember speaking with E3D about the whole obsidian coating way back, and they were like, yeah, it took a while to figure out which version of DLC works best for the obsidian coating, and also like having to ensure that the yields were good. Okay, congratulations, Matt. You will get you get an email from me when the stream ends with information on how to collect your filament. So everyone golf claps in chat. But yeah, it's a whole thing with like, you need to use the right coating for the size of the object. It also needs to ensure like, you know, thicknesses are within a certain tolerance. Also yields is another thing, because, you know, sometimes, you know, the yields are too low. So you don't want to put like 500 nozzle inserts in to get coated and only 300 come out acceptable. So there's like a whole thing about it. Like consistency, thickness, how long the filament or how long it lasts. There's a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of science and testing, and unfortunately, it's usually pretty friggin' expensive. So, hi Nero 3D. I hope all is well. I'm following up on my previous message and would like to hear feedback on your proposed collaboration. I believe we can craft something truly captivating together. I'd love to go into more detail with you. Thank you for your reply. Look forward to hearing back. Kelsey Wang, Marketing Manager, Temu. Ah, no. Yeah, we don't do the Temu shit here. Nope. Nope. Any company that sends you a invite to collaborate, and it's a one-click reply automated sign-up form, like, oh, just click on this link, sign up, and start making money using our products. Like, no. So. Guys, I got terrible news. FaZe Clan is done. FaZe Clan is over. No more FaZe Clan, everyone. How are we gonna? Who's gonna make sick Call of Duty trick shot videos now? Oh well. FOH. Freedom of haha. Oh no, that's terrible. Honestly, I forgot FaZe was even a thing. I thought they closed years ago. I don't know, it just came across my timeline. Okay. So I think we're gonna call it there. Don't forget, Tuesday, we're doing a community year-end recap video, or like recap live stream. So if you haven't entered yet on the Discord, go on the Discord. On the Discord, there is a channel called Look What I Printed. Okay, go to this channel, post something you printed last year, It could be a fully printed thing. It could be a cosplay prop. I don't care. It's got to be somewhat 3D printer related. So just share something you printed this year that you're proud of. You can do a little write-up. You can just show some pictures. On the Tuesday stream, we're going to go through it all. We're going to have a fun little end-of-year recap video, live stream, hangout. It'll be a fun little thing. So make sure you go participate in that. And yeah. What is this? Okay. Anyways, I'm going to call it there. It is Saturday night. I got some stuff to do tomorrow. My house still smells amazing because I did my house smells like turkey, like broth. It's amazing. So hopefully it still smells like that when I go back inside. But anyways, we're going to call it there. I want to give a shout out to Polymaker for the spool filament we gave away this stream and every stream. Also shout out for anyone that joined the channel, became members of the channel, gifted memberships to others, or just donated to the channel and would not be able to do the things I do, create the content I create without your continued support. You make it all possible. I know it's still, we got a couple days left in this little weird period between Christmas and New Year's where we all pretend to work, but we're not actually doing anything. Let's be honest. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe out there, wash your hands, and I will see you on Tuesday. Evening, Governor. Good night.